social justice warriors.
Jim Acosta, without a doubt, wins the competition for Trump's least favorite journalist of all time. Let's listen to some of their feistier moments.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. Should I let him have a little bit more? What do you think, Peter? Peter, should I let him have a little bit more? Sit down. I'm changing it from fake news, though.
Doesn't that undermine?
Very fake news.
I know, but aren't you?
When I raise money, excuse me. I've watched you on television. You're a real beauty.
Honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN.
All right.
And if you did it well, your ratings would be much better.
If I may ask one other question. Mr. President, if I may ask one other question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President, what do you say to your critics who say that you're concocting a national emergency here in order to get your wall because you couldn't get it through other ways?
What do you think? You think I'm creating something? Ask these incredible women who lost their daughters and their sons, because your question is a very political question, because you have an agenda. You're CNN. You're fake news.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Here's Donald Trump Jr. proving once and for all the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
They hate Trump more than they love America. For them to try to take a pandemic and seemingly hope that it comes here and kills millions of people so that they could end Donald Trump's streak of winning. I don't know if this is coronavirus or Trump derangement syndrome, but these people are infected badly. To make this guy into a religious scholar, that's like saying Jeffrey Dahmer is a purveyor of organic and fine exotic meats. Adam Schiff is basically the Jussie Smollett of Congress on steroids. Children are off limits. Remember this one? If 13-year-old Barron Trump is not off limits, Hunter Biden sure as is not off limits. Because my name is Trump, if I took $1.5 from China, not $1.5 billion like Hunter, their heads would explode.
Who's your favorite Democrat? Go ahead.
Mitt Romney, Gail. Mitt Romney's my favorite Democrat. How about that? Please, Lord, in my next life, make me a leftist so I can say anything and get away with it.
Campers, have you thought of upgrading your RV or camper this year? This is Howie Carr. Right now at Cold Springs RV, you can shop great preseason deals on a brand new 2020 camper. Go see the latest in pop-ups, travel trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, and motorhomes. Cold Springs RV is your one-stop shop with over 200 acres of all things camping. It started with a camp resort, then came the RV center and superstore. Now they have the region's largest state-of-the-art service center and auto body shop. That makes Cold Springs your destination for all things camping. Remember, at Cold Springs RV, the doors are always open so you can freely browse. So go check out the latest 2020 models and see for yourself. If you're looking for a pre-owned RV, you'll also find one of the largest selections in New England. Don't miss the year's best selection and early bird savings at Cold Springs RV, and tell them Howie sent you. Cold Springs RV, Route 114 in Ware, New Hampshire. Online at coldspringsrv.com.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
Who is your favorite actor?
Humphrey Bogart, no doubt about it. I love all the old Humphrey Bogart movies. Jimmy Cagney would be a close second.
Do you have a celebrity crush?
No celebrity crushes.
Ginger or Marianne?
I always was a Marianne person. Never was bowled over by that Hollywood look. Plus, Ginger was in more revealing attire, scantily clad.
Salty or sweet?
Neither, but if I have to pick, I'll go with sweet.
Movies or TV?
TV.
McDonald's or Burger King?
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
Nothing will stand in our way as we pursue any avenue to find what best works against this horrible virus. So chloroquine or hydroxychloroquine. Now, this is a common malaria drug.
I want to thank the president. He said that he would bring the Army Corps of Engineers here. They came here the next day. I spoke to him last night to follow up on the meeting. I want to thank the president.
Hell, breathe is over.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studio.
Just in Act 1 of this. Act 2 is when the hospitals start to get jammed.
Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies.
When our
see the lack of supplies.
Healthcare professionals don't have the supplies they need to keep them safe.
Rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes.
And they go down.
The dead rising from the grave. Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together.
But this is the reality we seem to be facing.
Who's your captain? Howie Carr.
I have lived through 9/11. I lost 3 people, 3 friends that I knew. in the towers. I was there through the crash in 2008, but this is the worst of all.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Unchained and unstoppable.
Why was the United States not prepared with more testing?
We were very prepared. The only thing we weren't prepared for was the media. The media has not treated it fairly. I'll tell you how prepared I was. I called for a ban from people coming in from China long before anybody thought it was. In fact, it was your network. I believe they called me a racist because I did that. Burn! It was many of the people in the room. They called me racist and other words.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
Now they're talking about a vaccine within a year, and that these old malaria remedies might be used against the plague, and so their irritation and their exasperation becomes ever greater. They're just so angry, and they don't even today they were forced to ask him about the trials that are beginning, and it's going to take a while, a year supposedly. We're going to have a doctor on at the bottom of the hour to talk about this, but their anger is just it's really amazing. I mean, he's totally in control, and Pence and the whole team. I mean, they're doing the best they can, and they're still just trying to play this gotcha game. You know, can you guarantee they're not going to be How can you guarantee anything? This is real life. You don't know what's going to happen. They're just trying to set up future gotcha moments. The double standard here is just breathtaking. This is like Stephanopoulos back with Mitt Romney back in 2012. Will you outlaw abortion? How does the president of the United States outlaw abortion? I mean, Mitt Romney. I mean, I'm not a big fan, obviously, but you know, he was asked these kinds of questions that would never have been asked, are never asked of Democrats. And the same thing keeps going on here. I mean, things are as much in control as they can be here, and they're spewing anger. Their questions drip with contempt. Not all of them, but some of them do. And I hate to say it, especially the women. What are the women so angry about? And Schumer too. Schumer's another one of these fake tough guys, isn't he? I lost 3 friends in the towers. I mean, you're from the Northeast. Most people in the Northeast knew at least secondhand, many firsthand, people that died on 9/11. That's the way. That's 3,000 people were killed, and you're from New York City. It happened in New York City. A lot of people in Connecticut, Jersey, Massachusetts, New Hampshire lost people. And yeah, what a fraud that. And then he says, oh well, it's well, they're going to give him some money for the first month, but what about the second month? God, you know, I just keep thinking about this. You know, I like to read about the early days of World War II, especially, you know, when it was really dark. And, you know, they were really, you know, read the James Ellroy novels about California when they were really worried about the Japanese storming ashore at night. Down here in Palm Beach, they turned off all the lights because the U-boats were just lurking offshore. Can you imagine Franklin Delano Roosevelt getting, I mean, they're comparing this to one of the great national emergencies of all time, which doesn't seem like it is to me. But if it is, can you imagine Franklin Delano Roosevelt being asked these kinds of questions, or Abraham Lincoln? Come on. Or JFK during the Cuban Missile Crisis. Can you guarantee that the Russians aren't going to put any missiles into Cuba? God. 844-500-4242. It's 844-500-4242. That's the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. And then, but it's not only Schumer. I mean, we finally found the Bernie Sanders cut here. Now, remember something about Bernie Sanders. He is one of 535 members of Congress, 535. But apparently, he thinks he's running the show. He's not even a chairman of any committee. He's a member of the minority party in the so-called upper chamber. He has no responsibilities other than being mayor of Burlington, which is a very small city, and I think he was pretty much constrained by the city council back in those days. He's never had any real responsibilities, but yet he listen to him. It's not the greatest audio quality, but we finally got something here. This is him with CNN's Manu Raju, cut one.
Just untrue. We sent out a statement. What's your time frame? I'm going to stop with this. I'm dealing with a global crisis. We're dealing with it, and you're asking me these questions. Right? You're running for president, so well, right now I'm running. Right now I'm trying to do my best to make sure that we don't have an economic meltdown and that people don't die. Is that enough for you? Keep you busy for tonight?
Having to rely on Bernie Sanders to rescue the national health and save the nation's economy, I would call that a bleeping global crisis. 207 says, "Hey, Obama, can you guarantee that if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor?" That's a good way to put it. Can you guarantee that if you like your health insurance, even if you call it a bad apple health insurance plan, we can keep our bad apple health insurance plan? President Obama, can you guarantee that we're going to save $2,500 on our health premiums? He said all that stuff, and nobody ever called him out on it, did they? No, nobody in the none of these shrieking Harridans and shrews that are there. I love the way President Trump handled him too. This morning when he walks in and says, "Hey, it's getting a little roomier here. There's fewer of you here. Maybe just strictly for health reasons, we should get rid of another 75-80% of you." It was great. 844-500-4242. Yeah. President Kennedy, are you sure you have not been colluding with the Russians? Well, we know his brother was colluding with the Russians. His brother, when he went over to Moscow in 1956, I believe it was, with who was the Supreme Court justice? Oh, they were. I forget which one it was now. But anyway, he went over with one of the Supreme Court justices on just a trip, and he requested that they send up a woman of ill repute. That document showed up in the KGB documents that were declassified in the 1980s. So Bobby was definitely colluding with Russian prostitutes, which they, of course, accused Trump of doing. Only it wasn't true for him. 844-500-4242. 339 says, Senator Sanders, how's that universal health care working in Italy? Well, I'm not going to put through a system like they have in Italy. We'll have a better one like they have in Scandinavia. That's he always says if socialism, that's not the kind he's putting in. He's putting in the good social, the good socialism. He's putting in the kind of socialism where you don't end up with mass genocide and mass starvation and the petite bourgeois or some other group of people that are deemed inconvenient to the powers that be. 844-500-4242. We've got a lot planned here today, a lot of guests, and I'm Howie Carr.
He's New England's talk radio king. He's Howie Carr.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by MyCube Safe. After yesterday's cheap bastard deal sellout, MyCube is extending their sale for $200 off plus free shipping. Safes are needed now to store cash, ammo, and guns. Email scott@mycubesafe.com. Only 50 available.
There's a lot to love about you.
There's a
lot to love about driving a brand new 2020 Subaru Forester. From its standard symmetrical all-wheel drive to its EyeSight driver assist technology. Love all the Forester has to offer. Lease for only $265 per month for 36 months with $24.65 due at signing. Details at SubaruofNewEngland.com. You don't want to miss the Subaru of New England A Lot to Love event.
Let me tell you about a new sponsor to the Howie Carr Show, Helping Hands of America. For over 2 decades, Helping Hands has made donating your car, truck, or boat to a New England charity incredibly easy. I've donated, and you should too. It takes one call. The pickup is not only fast, but it's free, and your donation is 100% tax deductible. Call Helping Hands at 888-881-9090. That's 888-881-9090. Or visit helpinghandsofamerica.org. Restrictions may apply.
This is the Howie Carr Show live from Chappaquiddick at the Party House. 25 years after Chappaquiddick 1969 on WHDH News Talk 850.
Another bad song from 1969. 742-0850. We're going to take some calls this segment if you want to get on board. If you have any questions for John Farrar, the scuba diver who saw Mary Jo Kopechne's body underwater. The number again, 742-0850. We're going to start talking about the incident and everyone's perceptions. John, let me just get this straight. So now, as far as your belief is that while Ted Kennedy was walking past all these houses back towards the Party House where we're broadcasting from now, Mary Jo was still alive.
That is correct.
And she would have been alive probably for about an hour, you think?
I think that's most reasonable, and if an hour, if not longer, that's correct.
If not, why is finding promo codes that actually work so hard? With Honey, it doesn't have to be. Honey is the free online shipping tool that automatically finds the best promo codes so you don't have to search for one yourself. No more Googling promo codes and only finding expired ones. No more digging in the dark corners of the internet, desperately looking for a discount. Just download Honey to your computer and head to one of your favorite shopping sites like Walmart, Home Depot, eBay, Target, etc. When you check out, click the little Apply Coupons button that pops up. Wait a few seconds for Honey to scan its database of all the working coupons on the web. Then watch your price drop. Honey has over 100,000 5-star reviews. That's a lot. So you know it must be good. In fact, Honey's found over $2 billion in savings for its nearly 20 million members. Not using Honey is literally passing up free money. Download Honey on your computer for free at joinhoney.com/Howie. That's joinhoney.com/Howie.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
If you could go back in time and give your younger self advice, what would you say?
Get a state job, because behind the job comes the pension.
What's the best advice anyone's ever given you?
Most advice is pretty forgettable.
What's the best money you've ever spent?
The investment I made to leave the corporate radio prison I was in, the worst people I ever worked for, no doubt about it. I'd probably be dead if I were still working for them.
If you were on a deserted island and you could only bring 3 things, what would you bring?
A radio, a Wi-Fi system, obviously, and a computer, and I would bring some books. Don't ask me which books, too hard a question.
What was your dad's job when you were growing up?
My dad worked as a resort hotel manager. He worked in Florida at the Breakers in the winter, and then he worked at the Mountain View House, as it was called then, in Whitefield, New Hampshire, and various other places.
How about we have Matthew Levin on for the cheap bastard deal?
This is Kevin from Brockton.
This is Karen from Boiling Springs, South Carolina.
This is Officer Mark calling from beautiful Stratford County, New Hampshire. And this is the Howie Carr Show.
Yeah, these are trying times if you're trying to get to Europe or, God forbid, on a cruise ship. You're not getting there, obviously, and probably you don't want to be there. But you can still drive. Prices are extremely low for gasoline. It's a good time to be driving, that's for sure. So we have a special cheap bastard deal for an easy drive.
It's Howie Carr's cheap bastard deal.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds too good to be true.
Oh, no, it's real, and it's a
steal.
You know there's plenty more when you shop at Howie's store for another Howie Carr cheap bastard deal.
Howie Carr, the cheapest bastard around.
Camden, Maine is not that far away. And again, the price of gasoline continues to decrease. I've heard about it being 99 cents in some places these days. It's under $2 in a lot of places. So it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg to get there. In Camden, Maine, there's the Bayview Collection. It's 3 properties, 3 ends. And today we have $200 value gift cards for $100 each to the Lord Camden Inn in Camden, Maine. $200 gift card for $100. So this is a good way if you want to get out of the city, out of this madness for a few days. Get to Maine, Camden, Maine. The days are getting longer, and you can use this card. So we only have a few available. So go to howiecarrshow.com, click on store. Joining us now is Matthew Levin. He's the director of hotels for the Bayview Collection, all of the Bayview. That includes the Lord Camden Inn, the Grand Harbor Inn, and 16 Bayview. Today, specifically, we're selling gift certificates to the Lord Camden Inn. Tell us about the Lord Camden Inn, Matthew Levin.
Hi, Howie. Pleasure being here. Hello,
Thank you.
Grace and Taylor. Thank you so much. Lord Camden Inn is probably one of the most prominent properties in Camden. We opened in 1984. It's located right on Main Street. It's a historic building. It used to be a Masonic Hall, and it's one of Camden's most recognized hotels, and it's within walking distance to just about everything in town. So guests, once they check in, can walk to all the restaurants, shops, galleries, and the harbor right across the street. It's a beautiful property.
That's great. And is everything cool still in Camden, or are they going to have a problem right now, or is this for late down the road? I assume the Lord Camden Inn is open now, right?
Yes, the 2 of our properties are open right now. Grand Harbor Inn, we close seasonally anyway, and it opens in April. And, we've experienced a little craziness with some cancellations, but we are seeing some bookings. A lot of guests that had big trips booked, say a cruise or a Disney vacation, and they had to change plans, and we've seen some last-minute reservations to Camden. So we are a great destination, a perceived safe place with great recreational outdoor activities. So I think people are kind of seeing an option here.
Tell our listeners how far away Camden is from Boston.
So we're really, I think, within a very short drive. In my mind, we're about 3.5 hours north of Boston, so an hour and a half north of Portland, and an hour and a half south of Bar Harbor. So we're right in the mid-coast. Great location for exploring the whole coastal villages of Maine along the seaside.
Great. And so this is for the Lord Camden Inn, but you've also got the Grand Harbor Inn and 16 Bayview. Tell us a little bit about those places as well. People were interested in that.
Yeah. So you mentioned earlier we are the Bayview Collection, and Grand Harbor Inn is one of our smaller properties. It's located right on the harbor. It's both Grand Harbor and 16 Bayview, which are next to each other. We're very proud. They're 4 diamond properties. Grand Harbor Inn is known for kind of an exclusive feel. We have a lot of returning guests there. Large suites, all with water views, some right on the waterfront. 16 Bayview is our newest property. It's in an old historic brick building, but we've renovated and gutted the whole place 4 years ago and turned it into a beautiful upscale kind of contemporary property, all with balconies, many with harbor views, and what's known best for Coast Maine's kind of more popular bar and small plate venues.
So
I want to mention also. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Could people use the gift cards at the Lord Camden Inn if they get them now? Can they use them immediately?
Well, yes. So we plan to allow use of the gift cards all the way through May 31st, 2021. So if people aren't comfortable traveling now, we've got the ability to apply those gift cards well into the future when things kind of get back to normal. And the gift cards are applied to some of our most popular rooms. So it's for a 2 or more night stay at Lord Camden Inn in any Fireplace Deluxe, Full Harbor View, or Fireplace Suite, which are our most beautiful rooms.
Okay, because I think a lot of people would like to get out of town right about yesterday. Just to.
That's right.
So I just wanted to make sure that they can use them whenever they want, just in the next in the near future. So that's okay. So
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So this is a 200.
And all three of our properties are pet friendly as well. I wanted to mention.
Okay, great, pet friendly. And how many people can you put in one of these rooms?
Well, most rooms can accommodate up to 4 guests. So our larger rooms often have a king bed with a pull-out sofa, or 2 queen beds, so we can accommodate a family of 4. Most of our guests are traveling usually just as a couple, so 2 people. Mm-hmm. But we can accommodate up to 4 guests easily in several of our rooms.
Excellent. It sounds great. I look forward to getting up there. And again, this is in Camden, Maine. Go to HowieCarShow.com, click on store. This is today's cheap bastard deal. These are $200 value gift cards for $100 each, and you can use them immediately. Get the hell out of Dodge and get up to Mid-Coast, Maine, Camden, Maine. It's a beautiful town, and you could stay at the Lord Camden Inn and chill out for a little bit for a day or a weekend or however long you want. Get away from the craziness. This is a great deal. So and again, we don't have many of these, so get to them as soon as you can, and don't be left holding the bag. 50 gift cards, $200 each for $100 each. Thank you, Matthew Levin. We'll see you up in Camden, Maine, at the Lord Camden. I'm Howie Carr. Campers, have you thought of upgrading your RV or camper this year? This is Howie Carr. Right now at Cold Springs RV, you can shop great preseason deals on a brand new 2020 camper. Go see the latest in pop-ups, travel trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, and motor homes. Cold Springs RV is your one-stop shop with over 200 acres of all things camping. It started with a camp resort, then came the RV center and superstore. Now they have the region's largest state-of-the-art service center and auto body shop. That makes Cold Springs your destination for all things camping. Remember, at Cold Springs RV, the doors are always open so you can freely browse. So go check out the latest 2020 models and see for yourself. If you're looking for a pre-owned RV, you'll also find one of the largest selections in New England. Don't miss the year's best selection and early bird savings at Cold Springs RV, and tell them Howie sent you. Cold Springs RV, Route 114 in Ware, New Hampshire. Online at coldspringsrv.com.
He is the youngest senator that is going to be running. In his video, he also mentioned he's the only senator that lives in the inner city, and he's an unmarried vegan. So a lot of very unique qualities Cory Booker brings to the table, Kate.
Now, I appreciate the comments of my colleagues. This is about the closest I'll probably ever have in my life to an I am Spartacus moment. I am Spartacus. I am Spartacus.
Joey.
Oh, wait, here it is. I got it.
You like movies about gladiators?
Have you ever had an LGBTQ law clerk?
I've not been a judge, so I don't have any law clerks.
Someone working for you.
I'm to be honest, I don't know the sexual orientation of my staff.
When Dick Durbin called me, I had tears of rage when I heard about this experience in that meeting. And for you not to feel that hurt, tears of rage.
Would you just stop being so dramatic?
I'm a big believer that if this country hasn't broken your heart, then you don't love her enough.
Did you already blow it on your New Year's resolution? Didn't stick to that trendy new diet plan? Stop the roller coaster and get the weight off for good. People still say to me, wow, Howie, you look really great with all that weight off. But it's a lot more than looking better. It really is about feeling better, too. For me, it's about not having to wear a CPAP mask in order to sleep through the night. I'm able to go on bike rides every day. Sometimes I go on 2 or 3. I have much lower blood pressure, a lot more energy. I still eat what I want to eat, but unlike before the sleeve, now I don't overeat. Get the weight off for good. Call Newton Wellesley Weight Loss Center. Call 617-243-3724 or go to nwh.org/weight loss. Don't procrastinate any longer. Whatever your age, whatever your gender, do it. Call 617-243-3724 or go to nwh.org/weight loss.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
Would you say you're more like your mom or your dad?
No, I don't think I ended up being like either of them now that I think about it. My mother worked hard, but she never really learned how to make a lot of money. And my father didn't work so hard, but he had a good personality. He was good with people. He was better than me with people. That's what I'm saying. I'm not like either one of them, I don't think.
Did you have any siblings?
Yes, I have a brother, a younger brother.
What was your favorite subject in school?
Well, all kinds of history. I loved all kinds of history.
If you could have 3 houses besides the ones you already have, anywhere in the world, where would they be?
I wouldn't mind having another house in Palm Beach on Clark Avenue. Maybe a place in southern Maine. I don't need a third place.
Didn't you already have a house in Maine?
I did. It was on an island. It was not a good fit for the mailroom manager.
I've heard the house was haunted. Is that true?
Yes. And, my wife didn't really care that much for my relatives.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
We went to the White House for the Christmas party. In your opinion, what was the highlight?
The highlight of my trip to the White House with Grace, there were 2. Number 1, when we walked into Trump International Hotel, which she'd been dreaming of going to, and her eyes were wide. And then when the president actually came down the stairs, her eyes were even wider. She was so in awe of being there. I really felt like King Farouk, I felt like I was giving someone a really great gift that they couldn't get otherwise.
You've had some really good interviews over the years. Which one was your favorite?
I can't really say what the best interview I ever had, but one that just occurred to me was Jesse Helms, the senator from North Carolina. I interviewed him one time, and he went to high school with my mother in Monroe, North Carolina. And the first words out of his mouth were, "Howie, I know your mother before you knew your mother."
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
1-844-500-4242. That's the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. Dr. Brett DeLone was on Rush's show with the fill-in host earlier today. He did a great job. He has a talk show on Saturday mornings on one of the big talk stations in Pennsylvania. He's a board-certified general surgeon, and we just wanted to bring him on to answer some questions about the situation with the pandemic. Dr. DeLone, thanks for being with us here on the Howie Carr Show.
Thanks, Howie. It's my pleasure.
It's going to take a while, I guess, to come up with a vaccine. They're at the president's daily briefing today. They talked it might take a year, even with speeded up FDA trials. So let me ask you first about this old malaria drug, hydroxychloroquine. Is that how you pronounce it? Chloroquine. Yep. Like quinine, right? Yeah.
It's a. Go ahead.
How is this drug available now, and how successful do you think they've been? They're talking about how this might be a good way to stop the virus. Is this possible? How good are these tests that they're conducting?
Well, the information on all the drugs that they have tested to try and slow down the antiviral type drugs are preliminary. They've got small numbers of cases, and there's lots of different drugs that have been tried. So this is just one of them. They're also trying some chemo type drugs. They're also trying some different antiviral drugs, and the results have been mostly good, but mixed. So there are very good studies being done right now on chloroquine, on some of the other drugs, and they're expecting those results to be in by May. In the meantime, the FDA is fast-tracking these drugs to be used for this problem, and it's beyond hopeful. I think it's something that's doctors are going to be considering for every patient that gets diagnosed with this.
So, if people are concerned, and some of us are more concerned than others, and if you are concerned, could you go out and go to your physician and say, can you prescribe me some Plaquenil? I guess that's the brand name.
Plaquenil is the trade name.
The trade name. Yep. Is that a prescription drug, or is that over the counter?
No, it's a prescription drug, and it's available, probably widely available in pharmacies. here's the problem with running out and getting it. For most people who get this virus, more than 80% of people, this is going to be a mild infection like the flu.
Right.
81 or 82%. If you're young and you're healthy, you're probably not going to get very sick. If everybody in America went out and got a prescription filled for Plaquenil, there'd be a shortage. And then we wouldn't have enough to take care of the people who are hospitalized, who are sick, who are elderly, who are at risk. So it's a good thing for us that this drug is showing potential. And it's a good thing for us that this drug is widely available. What we don't want to do is to turn this into one of the other drugs that shows potential, but it isn't available yet. So I would certainly ask your doctor about it if you get ill, but let's husband this resource, effectively.
Considering that in large parts of the country it's difficult to buy toilet paper right now, I'm going to predict that there's going to be a real shortage of Plaquenil within a matter of hours if there isn't one already. Wouldn't you think? I mean, I'm not saying you should rush out, but that's the way it is. You know how it goes.
Yeah, I would tell you that the drugs that show the most promise are remdesivir and favipiravir. Those are antiviral drugs that are much less available. One is not FDA approved yet and it's used in Japan, and the other one is intravenous drug. The remdesivir is probably the drug that I think shows the most promise, and they are using that in sick patients across the United States and Europe. But it's not that available. It's an intravenous drug.
Now, how about these vaccines that they're developing? I mean, I know I know a year in FDA terms is like lightning fast, but I mean, can't they speed it up any more than that?
I mean, it's like Apollo. You said you were a history guy.
Yeah.
They're throwing so much money at this. If you went to them and said, "Hey, I'd like to work on a vaccine for COVID-19," they'd say, "Here's your grant for $10 million. Call us next week, see if you need more money." So they're doing everything they can to try and it's multiple major corporations, huge international pharmaceutical companies are working on this. They're working on an RNA vaccine, DNA vaccine, a protein-based vaccine, an immune-type vaccine. It took 20 months. And at that time, that was a record.
Mm-hmm. One of my texters says, ask the doctor to clarify whether, in fact, the increase in confirmed cases in New York is really a function of increased texting and not necessarily spreading.
You mean testing, right?
Testing, yes.
It's probably something of a function of both, but the real problem is that population density increases your risk of passing the virus person to person.
Right.
And that not socially distancing ourselves increases the risk of passing the virus person to person. And I don't think the city of New York has done as good a job as some other areas of getting the message out that people need to, as I said earlier on the Rush Show, we need to stand shoulder to shoulder, but 6 feet apart, and keep that distance that allows this virus to be mitigated or even suppressed if we're lucky.
Once you have this kind of virus spreading, I mean, how much can you stop it? I'm asking this question in terms of, the president keeps saying, if and he's not the only one that's saying if the Chinese had been honest, around Christmas about the extent of this problem, it would have been much easier to deal with it. I mean, what could we have done other than just totally closing the borders even earlier than we did? And President Trump was one of the first Western leaders to close the borders. Is there anything else we could have done? What could China have done to make this less of a problem here in the U.S.?
They could have recognized it sooner. They did the right things, but they did them too late. And I don't know whether that was because they weren't believing their own people. That's certainly possible. It was because in other experiences, they've done it sooner. So we have a choice in this country. We can either be South Korea, which managed to mitigate and suppress the spread of the virus by getting people to stay in their apartments and stay home, or we can be Italy. And really the rest of Europe. Spain's going to be worse than Italy if you look at the growth in the diseases there. So what we can do now is try and suppress the virus by literally keeping our distance from our fellow citizens and not being the one who spreads the virus. You see these kids at the beach in Florida, they're irresponsibly infecting each other. They just don't know it. And the problem is, even though they might be okay because they're young and strong, they're going to take that virus as a vector to old people, sick people, their parents, their grandparents, and they're going to need hospital care that's going to be, surged with patients over the next 3, 4, 6 weeks.
What is the positive, negative rates for the current tests? How many people show up positive who take the test?
So far, the nationwide number that I've seen is 11%.
11%. And the people that are taking the test.
Depends on which population you are. So if I gave this test to somebody in New York City, the chances that it would be positive will be higher because of the spread of the virus in New York City. Much lower in Idaho, much higher in Washington State, really high in Italy or Madrid. So it depends on the population where you are, what the chances are that the test will come back positive.
And are you more likely to come back positive the older you are, or is this just not a function of age?
The older you are, the more likely you are to get sick from it. So for most people, young people, they won't need a hospital. In the 20s, your chances of needing a hospital for this problem is 1.2%. In your 70s, your chances of needing a hospital for this problem is 24.3%. That if you had 100 people who were in their 70s who got COVID-19, a quarter of them would need to be hospitalized. Big difference.
Mm-hmm. So
that's why the older people need to be especially careful.
Well, I mean, so do the I hate to come back to this to Plaquenil, but if you're older, do you need to buy some Plaquenil just to be on the safe side?
If I was going to encourage any segment of the population to consider asking their doctor about Plaquenil, it would be the at-risk group with underlying conditions like cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, cancer, immunosuppressed people, and people who are over 70.
Would you take Plaquenil like a multivitamin in the morning?
No, that would be a waste. It has antiviral properties that won't do any good. You need to have the virus. So if I got a prescription for Plaquenil filled, I wouldn't take it until I either had symptoms that were very, very characteristic of COVID-19. And those symptoms are a cough or a sore throat, a fever, body aches, and sometimes diarrhea. Or until I had been tested for COVID-19, because if you get the flu and you take this, you won't be helping the flu any, and you'll be wasting the medication.
But so the problem though here is those symptoms you just described could be the flu, right?
They could be, but the flu season is winding down at this point. And flu tests are easy to get and plentiful and quick. So if you have those symptoms, you can go get a flu test. If that test is positive, you have the flu. If that test is negative, it's more concerning that you would have COVID-19, even if the COVID-19 test isn't as quick or isn't as widely available.
But isn't the coronavirus susceptible to warmth and heat, just like flu? I mean, isn't it as the weather gets warmer everywhere in the northern hemisphere, the chances of the coronavirus being passed decline, right?
That's not known with COVID-19, and in fact, there's some evidence from Australia where they're having summer and quite a significant outbreak that will not be true. Although we really won't know until we actually get into the northern hemisphere summer. The hope was that many coronaviruses do that. That may not be true for COVID-19.
Okay. So how soon do you think we're going to have a handle on this? I mean, that we can reopen restaurants and bars and bring people back to work. I mean, how long is this going to go on? Do we have any idea yet, or is it just uncharted waters?
If you use the example of the Asian countries that have already done this, and if you look at the epidemiology of how long this takes, and the course of the disease, the numbers of people, I think it's reasonable that if we do the right job, sort of locking down this country and social distancing, we can see a light at the end of the tunnel as soon as 7 or 8 weeks.
It's a long time, but
it is a long time.
Do a lot of damage.
I would reassure your listeners that you guys have great healthcare in Boston. The doctors and nurses, PAs, administrators, everybody's working hard to get those hospitals ready to go so they can take good care of people. A lot of planning going into place, changing elective surgery schedules, getting resources as much as are available, ready to go to do a great job of taking care of everybody who needs our help.
Okay, Doctor, will you come on with us next week? You're a font of information, your radio training does you well in this situation. Can you come back with us next week sometime?
I'm happy to update your listeners anytime that you'd like me to.
Thanks. One last question. One of our Uber drivers wants to know is Plaquenil contraindicated for any other problems? I mean, if you have is there some things you can't use it for if you're taking a pill for something else? You have a problem with Plaquenil?
Yes. In fact, it's like any other medication. There's some associated problems to do with high blood pressure, with heart disease. And I wouldn't recommend anybody consider taking Plaquenil without having a conversation with their doctor about what reactions it might have and cross reactions it might have with medications that they're already on.
Okay. I'm not suggesting everybody run out to your doctor and do this, but I know a lot of people, doctor, are nervous about this, and they're going to see this as some kind of panacea. And I just want them to understand what this drug is all about. But it's not a panacea, is it? It's just a potential tool.
It's exactly right. We've got a list of tools. It's getting longer every day. Plaquenil is one of them. And social distancing is probably the most important thing that people can do right now to try and limit the spread of this virus, to shorten the duration, to, as they say, flatten the curve so that the hospitals are less overwhelmed or not overwhelmed at all, and get us through this as quickly as possible. As I said earlier, shoulder to shoulder, but 6 feet apart.
All right, Dr. Brett DeLone, we really appreciate you being with us, and we'll talk to you again next week if we can. Thank you again very much.
Good luck.
Good. Thank you. With home security, there are two ways you can go about protecting your home. There's the traditional way where you wait weeks for a technician to do a messy installation that costs a small fortune. Or there's the other way, Simply Safe. Simply Safe is everything you need in a home security system. It's award-winning protection. 2-time winner of CNET Editor's Choice Award. Simply Safe blankets your whole home in safety. You get comprehensive protection for your entire home. Outdoor cameras and doorbells alert you to anyone approaching your home. Entry, motion, and glass break sensors guard inside. You barely notice it's there. But what's truly remarkable is you can set up this system all by yourself. Anyone can do it. It takes 30 minutes to an hour tops. And there's absolutely no trade-offs to your safety. You'll have an army of highly trained security experts ready to dispatch police to your home at a moment's notice, 24/7. And it's only 50 cents a day with no contracts. It's why The Verge called Simply Safe the best home security system. Go to simplysafehowie.com today and you'll get free shipping and a 60-day risk-free trial. You've got nothing to lose and peace of mind to gain. Go now and be sure you go to simplysafehowie.com. That's simplysafehowie.com. I'm Howie Carr.
You're tuned into the Howie Carr Radio Network.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by IPL and Skin Wellness of Dover, New Hampshire. For all of your permanent hair removal, skin irregularity, and enhancement treatments by certified estheticians, go to IPL and Skin Wellness. Okay, hold on. Can you turn down the sound so I can hear you? Okay, go ahead.
Sheriff Hodgson has issued a response to Ayanna Pressley and Rachel Rollins about releasing inmates due to coronavirus.
Yeah.
So we're going to have them on at 6:05.
Oh, brilliant. Beautiful. Yeah. Good. Excellent.
He's really fired up.
I'll bet he is.
This is a great aspect to talk about because that was such a weird thing to propose.
I know.
And it's good to talk about how they're handling it in prison as well.
I know. It's you're so we're so concerned about public safety. People are panicked. Let's let out some violent criminals onto the street. What a good idea. Exactly. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, he's very fired up. So we'll have
Thanks.
Yep. Bye.
Hoping Dr. Jill becomes a Surgeon General. She's a hell of a doctor.
Whoopi, you said that Roman Polanski, he wasn't rape.
I know it wasn't rape.
Child molest, maybe? I'm not sure.
It was something. It was something else, but I don't believe it was rape.
Oh, no.
I'm here with Dr. Bruce Houghton from Perfect Smiles in Nashua, New Hampshire. Dr. Houghton, tell us about the state-of-the-art procedures that can help many people look 10 to 15 years younger.
As we age, we do lose these proper proportions to our faces. And so if you're deficient in your chin or mid-face, we can create the proper proportions and make you look great. Sometimes we use orthodontics to change the look of the face. Sometimes.
Howie, we're going to do the poll question here.
Example of a tough case.
Well, some cases people just are missing a lot of teeth. I get a lot of people that come in and think that I cannot solve their problems because they're too great, but I really can. We've been doing this for over 35 years and there isn't much that we haven't seen.
So even if you're missing a few teeth or your teeth are discolored or you're very embarrassed, there's no reason not to come in for a consultation, right?
Absolutely. New techniques, new technology, things are available to us that we never had before, and we can handle just about everything.
Where can people find you?
So you can find us at perfectsmiles.com or call 844-A-PERFECT-SMILE.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
You are known as a cheap bastard. Which one of your daughters is the cheapest and why?
Charlotte is the cheapest, and I say that because she's always using my credit card. We keep changing the credit cards over and over again, and she keeps busting in and using them again. Most recently, just this week, she spent $75 at AT&T.
What's the cheapest thing you do now to save money?
The cheapest thing I do currently to save money, I guess, is I take all the bottles and cans back to the market basket every weekend. I always like to save that money. You know, I can't stand to throw those bottles and cans away and have the unclaimed returns go to the state of Massachusetts for illegal aliens.
Do you recycle?
Yes, I do recycle. When I got on the town meeting, I saw that the town dump was probably the only department in the town that was running in the black, and it's because of all the recycling that was going on. So I try to keep my taxes down that way.
This is Deb in Danielson, Connecticut.
This is Greg in Boston, Mass.
This is Elizabeth in Wakefield, Massachusetts, and this is the Howie Carr Show.
Today's poll question is brought to you by Terry Riley of Robert Paul Properties. Terry is your Cape Cod real estate expert. Her vast experience will help you navigate the market and make the progress easy and fun. Call Terry at 508-776-6182. Jared, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Is Andrew Cuomo auditioning for the Democratic nomination in case Biden can't handle it?
How else do you describe the fact that he has a press conference every morning now from Albany right before the president goes on? He's like he's the opening act for the coronavirus task force at the White House. And he's doing okay. I'm not a big Cuomo fan, but he's certainly, at least he's a sentient human being, unlike the front runner.
Well, he's just got to be out there showing everybody how buff he is during the virus to inspire them.
No, I don't think people care how buff he is. It's just that he could speak in complete sentences and he remembers what state he's in. You know, and how are they going to put Biden out there? I mean, even if this thing gets resolved, I mean, it's just going to remind people how where is Biden? Is he hiding? I don't know. Hiding Biden. So what are people saying?
83% say yes, Andrew Cuomo is auditioning for the Democratic nomination.
I think the first day he did it, I said, why is he doing this? The second day I began to get the, Today I said 3 days in a row. It's more than a coincidence. 844-500-4242. Jay from Chelsea says, geez, Howie, you sort of sounded like a hypochondriac there. Come down with a case of the sniffles. Can we take the drug like a daily vitamin? Dan Rather and I both agree. Courage. Jay, do you really think that I'm really concerned about this? I'm concerned about the economy. I'm concerned about Trump getting reelected so that the Democrats don't destroy the country. I'm not worried about this, but I know a lot of people are. And I just figured that, this doctor, this physician, Brent DeLone, he's pretty damn good as far as I can see. And so I just wanted to ask the questions I thought people would want to know. In the meantime, now we're going to take a break and I'm going to call my doctor and see if I can get a prescription. Not that I'm scared, you understand, but Plaquenil. That's what I want tonight. I'm Howie Carr.
There's an old saying in politics, if you can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with bull. Well, we here at Matthews Brothers never really agreed with that practice. No, sir. We've always held to the belief that people are generally smart enough to tell the difference between chicken gumbo and chicken guano. So when it comes to important stuff like structural and thermal performance of our windows and doors, we just stick to the facts. Sadly, even the remodeling industry has its share of those who hide behind hyperbole, provide mis- and disinformation, or lurch from one confusing sale of the month to another. So often, you have to wonder if they even have a regular selling price. But thanks to good old Al Gore and his invention of the internet, it's now possible for the average consumer, from the comfort of their own living room, to search for windows and doors that are structurally superior, or thermally superior, or aesthetically superior, or backed by the industry's best warranty. Or they can see them all in person, but only at Better Lumberyards and Window Professionals, or on the web at MatthewsBrothers.com. Matthews Brothers with one T, America's oldest window manufacturer.
At one time, I saw Peter Vesey, the NBA columnist for the New York Post. He was in the Herald sports department. I really liked his column, so I went up and introduced myself to him. Then one time, there was Cousin Brucey from WABC, and I used to listen to him driving back and forth between Chapel Hill and Deerfield when I was in college. Everybody on the East Coast listened to him. I couldn't believe that I was in the presence of Cousin Brucey.
Do you ever play bridge anymore?
No, I haven't played bridge in a very long time. Nobody I know plays bridge. I think my bridge days are behind me.
Do you think you'd still be good at it?
I'm not a great bidder, but I know how to count cards. That to me is the essence of playing a hand of bridge, is to be able to count cards.
What is a rhino?
Rhino is a Republican in name only. Think Paul Ryan. Oh, think Mitt Romney. Think Jeff Flake.
Whether it's global warming, global cooling, or climate change, one thing's for certain, the progressive moonbats can't stop talking about it.
We're talking about cities all over the world, major cities going underwater.
You know, I've spent a lot of time now with these young students, and they're scared. And a lot of young people are even suffering from, they're calling it extinction illness.
So that we can have people here who truly are committed to climate change, believe in climate change as though it's a religion, it's not a science.
A woman whose dreams of motherhood now taste bittersweet because of what I know about our children's future.
You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words.
That curing cancer is going to be much more difficult when there's so much climate change and pollutants in the environment, because a lot of cancer is environmentally caused.
Recognizing and acknowledging the link between animal agriculture and climate change is a very bold move, making tonight plant-based.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
John, what happened at Perfect Smiles when you went?
The initial consultation was easy. In the past, they just hand me a clipboard to fill out the forms, but that's not how I worked at Perfect Smiles. What was nice was it was a true consultation. They asked me my medical history or what I wanted to get out of the treatment plan. For me, I lived with TMJ. I'd literally have to crack my jaw throughout the day to relieve the pressure. I'd get headaches throughout the day. I'd be in pain. When I was at Perfect Smiles, they asked me what I wanted to get out of the treatment. You know, as a joke, I just said, geez, I'd love you to be able to fix my TMJ. And I was surprised because Dr. Houghton specializes in working with patients like me that have TMJ.
What were the results of visiting Dr. Houghton at Perfect Smiles?
Not only did I walk out of that office with a perfect smile, but he fixed my TMJ. It was a life-changing event. People tell me now that my smile is amazing. People would say, geez, John, your teeth look so great. I never realized my teeth looked so bad before. Now I take a look at the before and after pictures and I'm amazed.
Go to Perfect Smiles in Nashua, New Hampshire, or visit their website, perfectsmiles.com.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
Who do you consider the biggest rhino in the Republican Party?
Probably is Paul Ryan. I wish a Republican were still the speaker, but Paul Ryan was scarcely a Republican. And there was a reason he was Mitt Romney's running mate, because we had a rhino ticket in 2012.
Where did the expression How many more, Mr. Speaker? How many more come from?
That comes from the State House. There used to be a state rep who sometimes would talk about atrocities that were happening in crime. And he would get up there and
in Palm Beach.
My favorite place to go in Palm Beach is probably the Honor Bar, which used to be O-Bar. And you can get a really great hamburger there. And they have a great coffee machine that brews each cup of coffee individually. And now, a minute of wisdom from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Millennials and people and Gen Z and all these folks that come after us are looking up, and we're like, the world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change. And your biggest issue is how are we going to pay for it? And like, this is the war. This is our World War II.
I think that there's a lot of people more concerned about being precisely, factually, and semantically correct than about being morally right.
But being factually correct is important.
It's absolutely important.
And if we work our butts off to make sure that we take back all three chambers of Congress, all three chambers of government, the presidency, the Senate, and the House in 2020, we can't start working in 2020.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
Did you have any pets when you were younger?
I had a cat named Dexter. That was my first pet. And then I had possession of two poodles when I lived in Palm Beach, Princess and Frisky. They weren't really my dogs, but I took care of them. They lived with me. So they were my dogs. I love those poodles.
When you were a kid, what was the best gift you ever received?
I got this wooden fort from FAO Schwartz in Palm Beach, about the age of 6 or 7, 10 soldiers to go along with it. Such a cool fort. I had that fort for like maybe close to 10 years.
What is your all-time favorite movie?
Probably Goodfellas. I love Goodfellas. I love it even more than The Godfather.
What is your favorite dessert?
Oh, that's a tough one. Probably chocolate ice cream, followed by vanilla ice cream, followed by coffee ice cream. I'm here with Dr. Bruce Houghton from Perfect Smiles in Nashua, New Hampshire. You get a lot of patients, I'm sure, who are apprehensive about veneers. What are some of the questions and fears you get when you're dealing with new patients?
Some people think they could look too fake, but true cosmetic dentistry is incredibly detail-oriented. So we put a lot of time and effort into individualizing how the smile looks, and we really make them look natural, but very, very pleasant.
You know, people are concerned. They wonder, I got my teeth. Do I really want to put caps on?
Exactly. Yeah, they think they'll have that Hollywood look or fake look, but the technology that we have available and the artistry that we can create now really makes things so natural that most people, in fact, most dentists are just surprised that we can create what we can create nowadays. Everyone is different. Everyone has different facial dimensions, different bone structure, and we do everything we can to individualize treatment because there is no one perfect smile. It is your perfect smile.
Dr. Houghton, where can people find you?
So you can find us at perfectsmiles.com or call 844-A-PERFECT-SMILE, 844-A-PERFECT-SMILE.
I've seen a lot of Anchor cupcakes in my day. Here are some of the latest network nitwits.
And he says, if I'm elected president, I will push for a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on all members of Congress. Correct me, there already are term limits, so what does he mean?
And what are we hearing in the background? Is that shelling?
No, Katie, you're actually hearing that from here in Jerusalem, and it's actually fireworks going off right behind me.
We're in our tribes, we're in our corners most of our lives. I think we just heard some gunshots. Should we listen to that for a second, control room? So that's not gunshots? Okay.
Ivanka is not the second lady. She is actually, I don't think she deserves this position. She's actually a senior advisor to the president. So the idea that he would demean her specifically in that way, he shouldn't talk about the first.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
Nothing will stand in our way as we pursue any avenue to find what best works against this horrible virus. So chloroquine or hydroxychloroquine. Now, this is a common malaria drug.
I want to thank the president. He said that he would bring the Army Corps of Engineers here. They came here the next day. I spoke to him last night to follow up on the meeting. I want to thank the president.
Hell, breathe is over.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studio.
Just in Act 1 of this. Act 2 is when
the hospitals start to get jammed.
Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies.
When our,
We see the lack of supplies.
healthcare professionals don't have the supplies they need to keep them safe,
Rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes.
and they go down.
The dead rising from the grave. Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together.
But this is the reality we seem to be facing.
Who's your captain? Howie Carr.
I have lived through 9/11. I lost 3 people, 3 friends that I knew in the towers. I was there through the crash of 2008. But this is the worst of all.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Unchained, unstoppable.
What? I can't hear you. Turn down the sound. What is it?
We were very prepared. The only thing we weren't prepared for was
What?
the media. The media has not treated it fairly. I'll tell you how prepared.
What time do we got to be out by?
A ban from people.
And we'll do Grace's news at 4:30.
What time do I have to be out by?
Anybody thought it was, in fact.
What
Out by
time?
14.
14. Okay, great. Gotcha. Turn it back on.
Racist and other words.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
Welcome to the Howie Carr Show. The news today is that they're going to speed up the clinical trials for a possible vaccine, but it's still a year away. But there are other trials suggesting that older anti-malaria drugs developed a half century ago might work and there are other drugs as well, or antibiotics that could be used to treat this. And it looks better. I mean, things look better than they did a couple of days ago. But we'll see. The problem, of course, is the economy and the fact that all sorts of people are already being laid off. Here's the front page of the New York Post today. Mass layoffs begin. Thousands of New York City restaurant workers fired, and they're being fired everywhere. I mean, if you drive around where we are in South Florida right now, there are the traffic is a fraction of what it used to be. And I go by the main shopping area in West Palm Beach every day, and there's nobody on the streets anymore. Okay, I guess a lot of the stores are closed, and you wonder what the ripple effects are going to be. I was thinking about this myself the other day. I'm a print guy. I worked in newspapers my entire life, still do, for the Boston Herald, and I keep thinking to myself, you got all these media dinosaurs, for lack of a better term. I mean, I hate to be blunt and undiplomatic about it, but a lot of these newspapers and magazines, you wonder how long they're going to continue in print, and is this just going to be used as an excuse to dump the print operation? And sure enough, I pick up the paper today, and Playboy's gone. I mean, not a great loss, obviously, but they haven't even been printing a monthly for a couple of years now, but they're not going to do any more print. And I just keep thinking to myself, I don't think Playboy is going to be the last magazine or newspaper to stop this. We can't get truck drivers. It's too expensive. People don't want to pick up the paper or the magazine anymore. They're afraid of being infected, et cetera, et cetera. This is going to happen in a lot of industries, I think, if this drags on as it might. And we have to deal with the fact that the economy could take a real hit. And the public sector is going, we just we're getting the days off. I mean, I know in Massachusetts, you have all the people at the courthouses. They're practical. I'm told that some of them are almost happy that now everything except in emergencies you have to work from home because they're going to get paid. But what happens if all the sales tax revenue crashes, which it's going to in every state, isn't it? If all the bars are closed and the restaurants are closed and the retail stores are closed, there's not going to be nearly as much money coming in to the coffers to pay the public sector workers. So I would assume that sooner or later they're going to have to take a bullet too, just like people in the private sector if this thing drags on. 844-500-4242. That's the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. We've got a lot planned here in this hour. We're going to speak to the Secretary. Grace is not going to be with us here in the first couple of segments. We're going to speak to the Secretary of Labor in the next hour. And I'm going to ask him some of the questions about the employment situation. And, they're talking about, really high levels of unemployment here, at least for a quarter or two. And, it's easy to the economy. There's an old saying that the economy goes up on an escalator and it goes down on an elevator, and we've certainly seen that in the last few days, have we? Or the last week or so, have we not? It's just been in true crash mode. I mean, the decline the other day when it went down over 2,000 points, that was greater than the so-called Black Monday of in October of 1987. 844-500-4242. And someone says, can they just let out the inmates? Yeah. That's being suggested now. Let out the inmates, especially in Massachusetts. A congresswoman and the new far left district attorney just open the doors, let them out. A lot of people are frightened by this situation. Panic is not too strong a word for a certain segment of the population. They're very worried. Why would you want to let out criminals onto the street? And they keep saying, well, they're not violent criminals. Well, guess what? New York basically did away with bail at the start of the year. And these are just anecdotes. The stories about crime going up and 92-year-old grandmothers being raped and murdered by illegal aliens who should have been deported and should have been in jail. But you know what? The crime stats are way up in New York State, particularly in New York City, since they did away with bail. If you start letting people just opening the doors of the prisons, you're going to have a lot more problems than just the Chinese virus. And I'm going to still keep calling it the Chinese virus. We're going to take an early break because we're going to be back with the Secretary of Labor. I'm Howie Carr.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Radio Network.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by Precinct 10 Restaurant in Weymouth. Precinct 10 is a secretive speakeasy restaurant featuring classic cocktails and regional menu. From New England seafood to Southern barbecue, find out what's hiding behind their wooden doors.
As the 2020 presidential campaigns heat up, there's plenty
Jared
of
or
talk
Taylor?
about what's best for the country. The question is, at what cost?
What's up?
Can you check the listen line TalkStream Live? They say some people are saying it's down. Can you check to see if that's okay?
Okay, yeah, we'll look into it.
Okay, thanks. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I don't, but I think Taylor does.
Okay,
so.
TalkStreamLive.com. Thanks. Bye.
Okay.
They can help develop a solid income plan that will make sure you never run out of money, despite what the politicians might have in mind. What about Social Security? When to claim is a huge decision. Kevin is there to create a plan that gives you options to maximize your benefits. Schedule your free consultation now. 800-989-9100. And catch Kevin on the Howie Carr radio program every Thursday afternoon as he reviews the market. 800-989-9100. 800-989-9100.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
So now you've broken your elbow. Have you ever broken any other bones?
When I was 8 years old, I broke my leg. I was playing touch football in Portland, and a big kid, a 15-year-old, tackled me. When I was in my 30s, I was going down the stairs, and one of the kids' toys was on the stairs, and I tripped on it and broke my foot. I lost a tooth playing touch football when I was just out of Deerfield. I got smacked in the jaw. My tooth.
Hey, Howie. Howie? Howie? Howie, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What's his name?
Secretary Scalia, Eugene Scalia.
Eugene Scalia. Okay.
So did somebody mention TalkStream specifically?
Yeah, they mentioned. Yeah, they just said the TalkStream Live is down. A couple of people have mentioned it. Does it seem okay?
Yeah, that's a website that has nothing to do with us. We can't do anything about that.
Oh, okay. But I was just wondering, where do they pick it up from?
The TalkStream Live website, it just runs a bunch of different talk shows, and you're one of them.
I know, but I'm just saying, where do they pick it up from, though?
I don't know where they pick it up from, but it's nothing really we can do about it.
All right. Okay, that's all.
You can just tell people to go to the website, howiecarrshow.com. They can watch on YouTube there or get a link to listen. And we know people listening on the stream can hear us. Thank you. No need to text in.
Yeah.
For 2020.
If you know anyone
Let's
who's
look
listening,
back at some
listens
of
to us on
septuagenarians'
TalkStream Live,
greatest
tell them to
hits.
come on where you're
Should we
listening
give
to
tax
us.
breaks to
Whether
billionaires,
it's
which is what Trump
Newsmax
wants,
or,
or demand that the wealthy and large
YouTube
corporations
or
stop paying their fair share of taxes?
We're everywhere.
You know, it's funny. Sometimes American journalists talk about how bad a country is because people are lining up for food. That's a good thing. In other countries, people don't line up for food. The rich get the food and the poor starve to death.
We understand your wife has hired a lawyer to represent her in a possible probe into a land deal that fell apart. This was back when she was president of Burlington College.
No, it was not when she was. Oh, let me say a word on that. You know.
Yeah. Well, I just want to ask you: do you know she's under FBI investigation?
Excuse me. My wife is about the most honest person I know.
At the end of the day, you don't necessarily need a choice of 23 underarm spray deodorants or 18 different pairs of sneakers.
People should not be dying in the United States of America when they are sick.
We will raise taxes.
This is Paul in North Andover, Mass.
This is Luana in Lexington, Massachusetts.
This is Lauren in Augusta, Maine, and this is the Howie Carr Show.
844-500-4242. That is the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. I just held up this headline here from the New York Post, today's front page. Mass layoffs begin. Thousands of New York City restaurant workers fired. It's happening around the country, and it's not just New York City. It's not just restaurant workers. A lot of people are being laid off. There are all kinds of dislocations going on, to use the euphemism for mass unemployment. Joining us now on the line is Secretary of Labor Eugene Scalia, and to discuss what's going on. Secretary of Labor Scalia, thanks for being with us. We appreciate it here on the Howie Carr Show. How bad is it right now, and how bad is it going to get?
Well, look, it's a national emergency. We know that it's a public health emergency, Howie, and we're tackling it aggressively. We see the president at that every single day. I think of it in terms of a national effort like we haven't seen as a country probably since World War II, where really the nation is mobilized now. Everybody has a part. Obviously, the president, as commander in chief, is leading that. And he's been acting, very swiftly and decisively since early when he barred travel with China, and that's continued through other travel restrictions he's had to put in place. The emergency declaration he made, this very important bipartisan legislation that's swiftly been put through, the steps being taken to make tests even more widely available and like. But that's the president. We're all in this, and unfortunately, we know it's having economic impact. There's no way around that. We do see the businesses that are having to shut down temporarily, and that's really having an impact on American workers. So we're very focused on that impact too.
So I mean, sometimes, and then there's the ripple effect here. Like my texters are saying that, like for instance, the Pennsylvania Turnpike, all the rest areas are shut down. So truckers can't get any food, and after a while, they'll people will make a decision not to take that overtime load as an on-the-road trucker just because they can't get any food, and then that cuts down that disrupts the supply of all goods, and you just have that in every segment of the economy, don't you? As the longer it goes on, the worse it's going to be.
Well, look, I agree in part. There are ripple effects, and we just keep seeing new impacts of this, like the one that you mentioned. On the other hand, I think it won't keep getting worse. I think the more aggressively we attack this right now, as the president has been urging, he's been focused on the next 15 days. I think the more aggressively we attack this right now, and keep it from spiking too high, the sooner we'll get past that. And I think that's one of the most important things for your listeners, for Americans to recognize that this is tough. I likened it to what we had to do, not just on the front during World War II, but the fight here at home. And we're all engaged in that fight. But if we take it extremely seriously right now, follow the guidance from the president, from the CDC, we'll get past it. And one other thing that I do think is a reason for optimism over the long term, Howie, is what a strong economic position we have been in until now.
Right.
The president put us on an extremely strong economic footing with record low unemployment, rising wages, and the like. Unfortunately, we have just this terrible virus that's come here and is disrupting that right now. But we fight it from a position of strength. And if I think we're disciplined and show resolve now, we'll spring back faster.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, so many people that had been disheartened and had left the workforce had come back in. 6-7 million new jobs since President Trump was inaugurated, and now the unemployment rate is going to spike upwards again. What would you tell people who were cruising along 2 weeks ago and had more money in their pocket probably than they've ever had or had in decades, and now they're out on the street? What would you, as you're the Secretary of Labor, Eugene Scalia, what would you tell them?
Look, I'd say first of all, here in Washington, the president, the vice president, the entire administration, but also the Congress, are acutely focused on the impact that this is having on individual Americans, their health, and sadly we lost some people, but also the economic impact. There was legislation the president signed last night to give paid leave and to help shore up the state unemployment insurance systems, and I think we'll see more legislative action in the next day or two coming out of the Senate to provide yet more economic support to the American people. So you're right, Howie. I mean, we had such a vibrant economy. I do think that our fundamentals are sound economically. This is different than 2008 in this respect, where there was a bubble of flaw in our economy. That's not what happened here. And so the fundamentals are there to spring back. But the people in Washington are very focused on the impact to people at home, nobody more so than the president.
Right. Well, I mean, the thing is, he dumped all the money into the stock market through the Federal Reserve and all that stuff to try to bolster it. But it's like the French generals fighting the building the Maginot Line, and they fought the last war. I mean, this is an unprecedented type of blow to the economy, and I don't know. I mean, it seems like everybody is mobilized. I'm just not. I don't know what to tell people that are concerned, especially people that have, you were just cruising along. This isn't something you could see coming. Like a lot of downturns or recessions. 2 weeks ago, we were on top of the world economically, and now people are losing their jobs suddenly, or they're being cut back. That's another thing. What do you tell people who are being cut back?
Well, when you talk about where we were 2 weeks ago, we put out our economic report for jobs 2 weeks ago for the month of February, where we had created I believe it was 223,000 jobs, which
right.
was actually which was the same number we'd hit in January as well, 273,000 jobs both those months, just extremely strong numbers. And look, it's going to be a very different story, I'm afraid to say, when we look at the next reports. I will have to just disagree with you on one point, Howie. We're not French generals. We're the Americans, and I think we've got a very strong commander in chief. And kidding aside, one of the things that really gave me heart and confidence was watching the president and some of the folks in the private sector last week, and all that the private sector is trying to do too. We know we've got a health system in this country that's second to none, and we see that expertise being brought to bear. But I am really heartened to also see how these incredibly talented entrepreneurial American companies are stepping forward to help with testing in just a whole variety of ways, contributing, by the way, in part, helping their workers. And so I think the strength of our private sector, as well as the focus that we have in the government, the strength of our healthcare systems, are all reasons for confidence. The president and vice president are talking about, not just an all of government, but really an all of America response. And that's been inspiring. And so people really should not despair. We know how challenging it is, and help is being provided by a very disciplined team. And I think the single most important thing for Americans now is to follow the guidance being given so we can bounce back quickly.
I love the stories that, in the Wall Street Journal, there are 1 million more jobs out there than there are people looking for jobs. I mean, even though I'm an employer more than an employee, that makes me feel good after all these years of malaise. When are we going to see that situation come back, do you think, as Secretary of Labor? How long is it going to take?
I think we just need to beat this virus, and we can get back on the economic footing that we were on before. It's going to be a week or two. It's going to be in the months, but the more disciplined we are now, the sooner that is. And again, Howie, the fundamentals there are very strong, and I am confident.
Thank you, Secretary Scalia. I'm Howie Carr.
Promo codes that actually work so hard. With Honey, it doesn't have to be. Honey is the free online shipping tool that automatically finds the best promo codes so you don't have to search for one yourself. No more Googling promo codes and only finding expired ones. No more digging in the dark corners of the internet, desperately looking for a discount. Just download Honey to your computer and head to one of your favorite shopping sites like Walmart, Home Depot, eBay, Target, etc. When you check out, click the little Apply Coupons button that pops up. Wait a few seconds for Honey to scan its database of all the working coupons on the web. Then watch your price drop. Honey has over 100,000 five-star reviews. That's a lot. So you know it must be good. In fact, Honey's found over $2 billion in savings for its nearly 20 million members. Not using Honey is literally passing up free money. Download Honey on your computer for free at joinhoney.com/Howie. That's joinhoney.com/Howie.
Joe Biden might be running for president in 2020, so we should play some of his greatest hits.
Barack and I finally reduced the disparity in sentencing, which we've been fighting to eliminate, in crack cocaine versus powder cocaine. Correct. It was a big mistake when it was made. We were told by the experts that crack, you never go back.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent.
If you want to protect yourself, get a double-barrel shotgun. If there's ever a problem, just walk out on the balcony, put that double-barrel shotgun, and fire 2 blasts.
They're going to put you all back in chains. Give me a break. That's a bunch of malarkey.
The 3-letter word, jobs. Jobs. Jobs.
One man stands ready to deliver change we desperately need. A man I'm proud to call my friend. A man who will be the next president of the United States, Barack America.
If you're in or near the financial red zone, that's 2 to 5 years from retirement. Do you know how your nest egg would fare if the market had a major correction? Does your plan have too much risk? Are you being too conservative? It's time to stress test your retirement plan. Call Kevin Frisbee at Frisbee & Associates and ask for your retirement plan stress test. It's a $500 value, and it's yours at no cost. 800-989-9100. Find out where your plan is today. Maybe it's time to lock in those gains, reduce your risk, and make sure your portfolio has the diversification needed to weather the inevitable bear market. Kevin can help take the worry out of living in retirement. Call now for your no-cost or obligation retirement stress test of $500 value. Call Kevin today, 800-989-9100. That's 800-989-9100. And catch Kevin on the Howie Carr radio program every Thursday afternoon for a market review and tips on creating the retirement of your dreams.
Jim Acosta, without a doubt, wins the competition for Trump's least favorite journalist of all time. Let's listen to some of their feistier moments.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. Should I let him have a little bit more? What do you think, Peter? Peter, should I let him have a little bit more? Sit down. I'm changing it from fake news, though.
Doesn't that undermine?
Very fake news.
I know, but aren't you?
When I raise money, excuse me. I've watched you on television. You're a real beauty. Honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN.
All right.
And if you did it well, your ratings would be much better.
If I may ask one other question, Mr. President, if I may ask one other question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President, what do you say to your critics who say that you're concocting a national emergency here in order to get your wall because you couldn't get it through other ways?
What do you think? You think I'm creating something? Ask these incredible women who lost their daughters and their sons, because your question is a very political question, because you have an agenda. You're CNN, you're fake news.
I'm the Vice President of the United States.
Love him or hate him, Joe Biden's here for the long haul, but we can't get enough of his gaffes. Here's the best of Uncle Joe speaking before he thinks.
We choose truth over facts. When the stock market crashed, Franklin Roosevelt got on television. Make sure you have the record player on at night. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Okay, look, all right. Look, well, you can frack with me later, okay? The teachers are reckoned. I'm married to a teacher. My deceased wife is a teacher. And Corn Pop was a bad dude. I can tell you, and I've known 8 presidents. 3 of the minimum. If you agree with me, go to Joe 30330 and help me get over 40 kids shot at Kent State on a beautiful lawn. I love this place. Look, what's not to like about Vermont in terms of the beauty of it? I said something that was not meant the way I said. I mean, what is it that I said wrong? I want to be clear. I'm not going nuts. Anyway, my time's up. I'm sorry.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
844-500-4242. That's the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. Meanwhile, the number of deaths in the state of Massachusetts, which is our base, remains steady this afternoon. 0 deaths. 844-500-4242. Joining us now is Grace with Grace's News. We delayed it a little bit so we could speak to the Secretary of Labor. And I have each press conference that goes by every morning at the White House, I feel a little better. They seem to have more of a handle on what's going on, but I just want to get this behind us like everybody else does. It's just it still seems like an overreaction to me. I'm sorry. That's just the way I feel. I don't understand why this level of hysteria. I don't understand why people are so freaked out either at the supermarkets and elsewhere. And that's why I kept asking about the drug Plaquenil in the last hour, just not because I'm scared, but I know a lot of people in the audience are very concerned about this. And I'm being told by people who've taken Plaquenil that there are a lot of side effects, and you definitely don't want to be taking it like it's a Fred Flintstone vitamin every morning.
Howard, that's our advice to you.
I take
our own Fred Flintstone.
I like vitamins. I like to take vitamins,
I know.
I wouldn't mind taking a vitamin if it would make this thing go away.
Howie, do you think you're more Fred Flintstone or more Mr. Magoo? I vote Mr. Magoo.
I'm more of a yabba dabba doo guy,
Yabba dabba doo. All right, Howie, I have some news here. Now, there are a few things during this time that can cheer people up. I think one of them is a collective cringe at celebrities. I think celebrities during this time, Times of crisis can really show people either their best or their worst.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think this has really reinforced the fact that celebrities are so obnoxious. And I'm going to tell you guys why, if you haven't already seen this. Gal Gadot, I think she played Superwoman. She had her and her celebrity friends do a rendition of John Lennon's Imagine and put it on Twitter. And she thought it was going to be this beautiful thing with her and her beautiful people friends.
That
singing
song's
this beautiful
very
song.
overrated.
Oh, it's awful. The Beatles in general are overrated, but that's a story for another day.
That was John Lennon, though. That wasn't the Beatles. That was John Lennon on his own, without Paul telling him, hey, John, I think we need a melody with this song.
But either way, I could do without any Beatles or John Lennon music forever. But anyway, so they sing this song. It's totally obnoxious. I was going to pull it, but then I realized you can't even see their faces on radio, so it doesn't matter. Basically, it's all these women and men just being like, imagine all the people. And then the next person, living for today. It's horrible. And the tweets that it got were hilarious, okay? These are some of the tweets. I've always hated this song. Imagine no possessions, sung by some of the wealthiest people in the world.
Right. Yeah, that's what I always thought. That's what I always thought about the song when it came out. I'd say, imagine no possessions. And I'm thinking John Lennon, he had a Rolls Royce at the time. Imagine no possessions. I'm in me silver cloud.
Jared just informed me that Gal Gadot, who inspired this whole thing with her friends, actually played Wonder Woman, not Superwoman.
Well, see, this is the other thing, Grace. I don't need to know whether someone tested positive for coronavirus if I don't know who they are, right?
You know who I am.
Tom Hanks, that's okay. He's a big star, all right? I'm interested. I'm not greatly interested, but slightly interested. But these people that I don't know, the only way I know them is by reading their names in boldface in page 6. They don't need to tell me whether they tested positive or negative.
I actually think you'd be a big fan of Gal Gadot if you saw her.
You mean she's not guilty? Is that what you're telling me, Grace?
I do not go by that system. I'm just going to say she's a very beautiful lady. But Howie, here are some of the celebs in it. It was Mark Ruffalo, Will Ferrell, just a Kristen Wiig.
Will Ferrell, he was Ron Burgundy, right?
Yes.
Why doesn't he just be Ron Burgundy? I don't care about Will Ferrell. I like Ron Burgundy.
Another person said, this song is about hell. Another person said, boo, donate if you really care about the world right now. Another person mocked, honey, look at all the rich people singing Imagine. Everything will be all right now, even though we both lost our jobs. This was so much better than money and not cringeworthy at all. Which brings me to my next story about celebrities.
You're getting toasted and roasted on the text line already. You're going to be the chump line today talking about the Beatles. 781
really?
says, imagine no music copyrights. Me and George and Ringo not getting any royalties. Imagine us being back in Liverpool.
I've never understood the hype around the Beatles, and I'm sorry. And if you love them, good for you, but I don't need to listen to them. Another person says, hey, celebs, we don't want to be sung to. We want you to use $1 million or $2 million of your money and order ventilators, masks, and gloves from the manufacturers, then donate them to the hospital. Or pay for the salaries of an entire staff at a bar, restaurant, or daycare.
We don't need any of that virtue signaling either, on the other hand.
I mean, it's virtue signaling, but at least it will do something. This is just painful. Someone said, imagine if celebrities came together to donate money to people actually in need. I wonder if they can. And then this brings me to my other story about celebrities, Howie. Because the obnoxiousness, and you guys could probably guess, my column is going to be about this. The obnoxiousness is just never ending. Arnold Schwarzenegger posted a video of himself in a hot tub with a cigar, lecturing people on, I've been staying at home and you all, I'm not going to do Howie, do you want to do an Arnold Schwarzenegger voice?
No.
I can't really do one. But he said, I've been staying at home.
How very Kennedy-like of him to be making a video where he's virtue signaling. He's only an in-law, but he's acting like a blood member of the family.
Well, this isn't the first time that he's acted like a blood member of the family. I mean, we all know his own scandals in the past.
Yes. Was there a maid? Was there a maid in the hot tub with him?
There was not in the video, but there was a cigar, and he was telling everyone what to do and how to be safe in this time of trouble.
Oh, thank you, Arnold. Thanks for sharing with us.
Let me get into my Arnold voice. Here I am at home, taking a jacuzzi, smoking a little stogie. Stay at home. That means you too, spring breakers.
I have not. How about this one? I have not left California since the pandemic began.
Yeah, so Arnold is one of the celebrities that's driving me crazy. And then actually, in this weird, crazy world we are now in, I am agreeing with Andrew Cuomo, who blasted celebrities who are getting coronavirus tests over regular people. He said that this is unacceptable and that these people shouldn't be getting a priority. That's 100% wrong. I have no reason to believe it's not happening, said Cuomo. It's crazy.
Do you have that cut? I'd like to hear that cut.
I don't have the cut, Howie. I don't know if he just said it to someone and a reporter wrote it down. I'll try to find it.
Let's play the cut of him thanking President Trump. I wanted to see this.
Which one? There was multiple.
Well, we'll just play. I know we got one in the intro. Play cut 14.
And again, when I said the federal response is very welcome, I want to thank the president. He said that he would bring the Army Corps of Engineers here. They came here the next day. I spoke to him last night to follow up on the meeting. So this is going forward aggressively.
Okay. And play another one. Cut 13.
You've asked the Army Corps of Engineers to come in and start building capacity to house the sick. I believe the president has met that request. So what do you expect them to do?
I think that's the best news, frankly, that has happened. This is a war, Savannah. We have to treat it like a war. Here in New York, we had 9/11, which basically immediately oriented us to a possible war scenario. And in a war, you need the federal government. States don't fight wars. They did once, but that was a big mistake. And the federal government stepping up and saying, we're in this, Army Corps of Engineers to build more hospitals. Equipment is going to be key. Ventilators is going to be key. And the federal government recognizing that responsibility and fully mobilizing the way the president now has, I believe, that's a very positive step.
I wish he had this interest in, extending the natural gas lines down into Westchester County and onto Long Island.
Hey, Howie. If
Yes.
you think that's the craziest person who's come out in support of President Trump, I have news for you. He got very unexpected support from Ilhan Omar. Someone tweeted about all of the decisions Trump's making, suspending mortgage foreclosures, demanding cash payments to Americans, now invoking the Defense Production Act to force private firms to produce needed supplies. And Ilhan Omar retweeted it and said, politics aside, this is incredible and the right response in this critical time. And she put a hand clapping emoji. So, I mean, it is getting a little bit like we're all coming together.
But we also have another member of the squad. Tell us about Rashida Tlaib, what she did.
I don't have the story in front of me. More importantly,
that little nitwit, David Hogg from Parkland High School. He was going to a community college, and then he decided to become a woke anti-gun crusader, and now he's at Harvard University, or he was until they shut down the campus. So what was coming up was the National Day of Prayer. So he tweeted out, bleep, only it wasn't bleep the National Day of Prayer. And then Rashida Tlaib, a congresswoman from Michigan, retweeted David Hogg saying, bleep the National Day of Prayer. I mean,
and
how dumb is she? How dumb and offensive is she to be doing something like that? I mean, Hogg is what he is. But I mean, she has to sometimes behave in a more responsible way.
Dr. Ben Carson made comments about the National Day of Prayer the other day, and he basically said we've come we've come a long way from prayer as a country. We don't rely on it as much as we used to. We used to be very centered around prayer. And he said we could all really use it right now, and it's very powerful, and don't underestimate it. And I thought it was a beautiful moment from him in this crazy time. And what a complete opposite reaction from Rashida Tlaib. That is really distasteful and alarming. But Howie, on the other side, I have more news, and this news has nothing to do with coronavirus. This news has to do with your favorite lady, She happens to wear white pantsuits a lot, and we're going to talk all about her on the other side.
It's sad news. You're getting a lot of grief on the text line from some of your longtime fans, like Bruce from the Mets.
Oh,
Paul,
about the Beatles?
UPS guy. Bruce,
on
the Beatles. These are
Bruce
Beatles.
from the Mets. I have my Friar sweatshirt on right now. I'm a big fan. I'm sorry, but I can't change who I am. I'm not a Beatles girl. I'm a Rolling Stones girl. Okay, I'm more Stones than I am Beatles, and I don't feel bad about it. Beatles stink.
Okay.
Is this going to be worse than when I made fun of pit bulls or bicyclists?
I don't know. We'll see.
Or Moxie.
We'll see. It's definitely going to be worse than Moxie. I don't know about pit bulls. All right. We'll be right back.
No.
844-500-4242. I'm Howie Carr.
The paper boy with a big microphone. Howie Carr.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by Cape Gun Works in Hyannis. During this difficult time, Cape Gun Works is open 7 days a week for all your gun needs. Visit them today or go to capegunworks.com.
Buying a new car, truck, or SUV should not be complicated or confusing. If you see someone advertising a price that's too good to be true, it probably is. At Banks in Concord, you will always get the lowest price. That's a promise. With over 2,000 vehicles in stock in one location, Bank Chevrolet Buick GMC will save you time and money. Browse our huge selection in person or online at banksautos.com. Our knowledgeable online sales team will make sure you are truly getting the lowest price, and they can take care of most of the details before you even walk through the door, saving you time and money. Right now, qualified lessees can lease an all-wheel drive 2020 Chevy Traverse LS for only $329 per month for 36 months. Or a 2019 Silverado Double Cab for only $299 per month. Chevrolet, find new roads. Bank Chevrolet Buick GMC in Concord, New Hampshire. Always the lowest price. That's a promise. BanksAutos.com. Must have a current GM lease within household. See dealer for complete details.
And now, 1 minute of Nancy Pelosi.
It is a bill that is much needed for our farmers and ranchers. I think there are only 47 votes against it.
Who's on the board, Taylor or Jarrett?
American people should know the source of it.
Taylor,
again,
Jarrett.
We are engaged in the year-end continuing resolution, Homeland Security. I'm not sure. No, I haven't spoken to him
Taylor,
since he called
Jarrett.
the other day, which was a very amicable conversation. Amiable, I guess you would say, not amicable. And I talked to Chuck last night to say, we haven't had an answer. There are other things that are going on that are newsworthy, and I think you'd have more viewers or readers if people address concerns that people have. The list goes on about
Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, Taylor, whatever is Jarrett. going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else you can think of. So for the last couple of years, none of us have been worrying much about those quarterly statements. But lately, it's gotten a little worrisome. It's not that bad, not yet anyway, but what goes up must come down. Now is the time to start thinking about adjusting your investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally met rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a call to get a free, no obligation investment guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. Call 800-912-2300. That's 800-912-2300.
He is the youngest senator that is going to be running. In his video, he also mentioned he's the only senator that lives in the inner city, and he's an unmarried vegan. So a lot of very unique qualities Cory Booker brings to the table, Kate.
Now, I appreciate the comments of my colleagues. This is about the closest I'll probably ever have in my life to an I am Spartacus moment. I am Spartacus. I am Spartacus.
Joey, you like movies about gladiators?
Have you ever had an LGBTQ law clerk?
I've not been a judge, so I don't have any law clerks.
Someone working for you.
I'm to be honest, I don't know the sexual orientation.
tears of rage.
Would you just stop being so dramatic?
I'm a big believer that if this country hasn't broken your heart, then you don't love her enough.
This is Lynn in sunny Las Vegas.
This is Dan from the moonbat capital of Jamaica Plain.
This is Gigi in Leominster, Massachusetts, and this is the Howie Carr Show.
I need somebody help, not just anybody. You know, I need someone.
That's not what I asked for. I asked for Helter Skelter. But that's okay. Grace, I have to take up a texter suggestion. Since you're a big Rolling Stones fan, what's your favorite tune on Exile on Main Street?
I don't know. I just isn't that the Mick Jagger band?
It's the third track is your favorite, right? The third one.
Yes.
Yeah.
How about Goat's Head Soup? What's your favorite tune?
I don't know.
Not too many good ones on that album.
Goat's
But
Head Soup?
I'm here to defend Grace. I think the Beatles suck too.
Yeah, take that.
There we
Taylor
go.
knows music.
All right, cut it before they sue us.
I just want to say, Howie, that I'm officially canceled. I saw the text messages, and I didn't think this was going to happen with your audience. I didn't think I'd get canceled over anything, but I'm canceled. We have hate mail. On the plus side, we have hate mail for the next month. And also, I just want to say that I regret nothing.
There's maybe 5 good Beatles songs, and that's it.
I have a suggestion, Howie. Well, actually, I'm going to tell you some of the suggestions that other people have sent in over the last couple of minutes, including how you need to fire Grace. I think we're getting a little extreme. I think we're taking this a little far.
That won't happen, Grace. But what's your favorite Rolling Stone song on Get Your Yayas Out?
Howie, I will tell you it, but first we have to do the poll question.
All right. Today's poll question is brought to you by Terry Riley of Robert Paul Properties. Terry is your Cape Cod real estate expert. Her vast experience will help you navigate the market and make the process easy and fun. Call Terry at 508-776-6182. That's 508-776-6182. Taylor, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Jared's going to handle it.
Oh, Jared's going to handle it. Sorry.
So many cooks in the kitchen. Is Andrew Cuomo auditioning for the Democratic nomination in case Biden can't handle it?
How else can you explain his opening act press conferences for the last 3 days?
83% say yes, he is.
Okay. All right. Back to your news, Grace.
Oh, back to my favorite Rolling Stone songs. I really like Beast of Burden. I'll never be your beast of burden. See, I know that one. And Give Me Shelter.
That's Gooner's favorite song. That's Gooner's song. He'll never be my beast of burden.
I'm not trying to say I know the deep tracks, y'all. I'm not trying to say that I'm like the Rolling Stones girl. Obviously, I listen to more Miley Cyrus than I listen to Rolling Stones. But if I had to hear one on the radio, it would be the Rolling Stones. Because you know why? Because I don't like to fall asleep when I'm driving and the Beatles are on.
Very fakeness.
Oh, we're 4 British guys who can sing in harmony.
Just saying, y'all. Don't get mad. Okay, so, and please, no more death threats. That New Hampshire, Howie, has allowed, this was actually really cool. Governor Sununu has decided that they can give, the restaurants can give liquor to during the takeout stuff. So if you take food,
it's New Orleans North.
I know, doesn't it sound crazy?
Does Mike Dukakis know what's going on north of the border? He's going to be shocked.
New Hampshire is about to get a couple more residents. And also, the National Enquirer is being blasted because they've been putting up these.
I know. Yeah. They've been saying they're cures for the coronavirus.
And Howie, I just have to say, if you are in the grocery store panic shopping and you're taking your medical cues from the National Enquirer, we have a lot more issues going on here. Okay. The National Enquirer that's why they're so fun, is because they're absolutely outrageous. You should not be looking up their home remedies and trying to make yourself.
Careful, Grace. That's the Death Pool Almanac.
And they're great for that. The death pool, not the want to stay alive pool.
The National Enquirer is not what it used to be like so many other print publications. I'm Howie Carr.
Hey guys, it's Grace. Howie is always giving me great advice. Never speak when you can nod. Always get the deposit money on empty cans. But the best advice he ever gave me was to call the car guys to get my first used car. I had tried to go to dealerships in the past, but just ended up feeling intimidated. But Bill Papa George from the Car Guys was the perfect solution. He got me the greatest car at the greatest price. Call the Car Guys today at 800-300-4600. I promise you won't be disappointed. That's 800-300-4600. Tell them Grace sent you.
There are many conversations at both the state and federal levels about gun control. People for and against background checks, waiting periods, and what you should and should not be allowed to purchase. Regardless of what happens, you have the right to bear arms. It's your constitutional right. And you also have the obligation to yourself, your family, and those around you to lock up your guns. Liberty Safe New Hampshire can help you pick the right safe for you. Visit libertysafenewhampshire.com. Be smart, be responsible, be safe. Liberty Safe. And now, another minute of Madam Speaker, Nancy Pelosi.
But again, you have these wings, AOC and her group on one side.
That's like 5 people. They would say, play games, and then they'd say, open sesame. Except we don't say sesame, we say open Biden. But no, I because we are not. We have the number is growing. We have 91 women. There are 115 women in Congress, 116. 15 are Republican, 91 are Democrats. I happen to be a manifestation of the women power that is coming forth now, but only one manifestation. It was like getting kicked in the back by a mule constantly. It was physical. It was so unbelievable. The Times found Lincoln. Not to be presumptuous to put ourselves in those categories, but the Times have found us.
Are we starting to feel bad for Joe Biden? Sorta. Are we going to play his gaffes anyway? Of course.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Now we need to stand behind Jamie Harrison, the next president, next senator. I'm looking forward to appointing the first African-American woman to the United States Senate. Just like here in California, here in Nevada. Back in the spring, late fall, late spring, late winter, early fall. Anyway, you know what I mean. Look, tomorrow's Superstar Tuesday. I tell you what, I'm rushing ahead, aren't I? We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. It says you cannot have 20, 30, 40, 50 clips in a weapon. We'll see who's sleepy.
Mr. Vice President, thank you.
All right, Chuck. Thank you.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Camper, have you thought of upgrading your RV or camper this year? This is Howie Carr. Right now at Cold Springs RV, you can shop great preseason deals on a brand new 2020 camper. Go see the latest in pop-ups, travel trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, and motor homes. Cold Springs RV is your one-stop shop with over 200 acres of all things camping. It started with a camp resort, then came the RV center and superstore. Now they have the region's largest state-of-the-art service center and auto body shop. That makes Cold Springs your destination for all things camping. Remember, at Cold Springs RV, the doors are always open so you can freely browse. So go check out the latest 2020 models and see for yourself. If you're looking for a pre-owned RV, you'll also find one of the largest selections in New England. Don't miss the year's best selection and early bird savings at Cold Springs RV. And tell them Howie sent you. Cold Springs RV, Route 114 in Ware, New Hampshire. Online at coldspringsrv.com. And now, some of my favorite fake Indian cuts of all time.
I'm not going to ask you for your favorite curse word. Actually, I am. Do you have a favorite curse word? Poop. Poop? Oh, that's a goody two-shoes favorite curse word if I ever heard one.
Are you kidding? Have you ever seen a woman like me look you straight in the face after you finished some long explanation of something and then just said, poop?
Hold on a sec. I'm going to get me
a beer.
I am not sure what she's talking about as far as a rally with.
It was a rally in Bern, organized by. Is that you have to figure out who you are. I grew up in a family.
Hey, Howie.
Yes.
So we have actually Dr. Matt calling in during the 6 o'clock hour.
Okay.
So we're going to have to push Sheriff Hodgson to tomorrow.
Okay, that's all. Okay, that's all right.
All right.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
Who was your favorite actor?
Humphrey Bogart, no doubt about it. I love all the old Humphrey Bogart movies. Jimmy Cagney would be a close second.
Do you have a celebrity crush?
No celebrity crushes.
Ginger or Marianne?
I always was a Marianne person. Never was bowled over by that Hollywood look. Plus, Ginger was in more revealing attire, scantily clad.
Salty or sweet?
Neither, but if I have to pick, I'll go with sweet.
Movies or TV?
TV.
McDonald's or Burger King?
McDonald's, although I prefer Five Guys.
Facebook or Twitter?
Definitely Twitter. I hate Facebook.
Cake or pie?
I'm a cake guy.
Coke or Pepsi?
Diet Coke.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee, obviously.
Winter or summer?
Summer. Good Lord. Why would you want winter? It's cold and it's dark.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Joe Biden doesn't have time for malarkey, and he also doesn't have a lot of time for geography. Take a listen.
The people of Nevada are watching, and I'm going to be out there seeing them very soon. Tonight, though, we just heard from the first two of 50 states. It's important that Iowa and Nevada have spoken, but look, we need to hear from Nevada and South Carolina and Super Tuesday states and beyond.
And Biden doesn't know the difference between Iran and Iraq. He's gotten it wrong 4 times.
We tried it in Iraq. It's not working. So now we're going to try. I mean, in Iran, excuse me. We tried in Ukraine.
He always gets the name wrong.
I love this place. Look, what's not to like about Vermont in terms of the beauty of it? And what a neat town. This is sort of a scenic, beautiful town. I like Keene a lot.
How many times has he missed it? He's in Iowa. It's great to be in the great state of Ohio. And they say, Joe, you're in Iowa.
How many unsafe bridges you still have here in the state of Iowa? And I was just in Ohio because they have more.
Why is finding promo codes that actually work so hard? With Honey, it doesn't have to be. Honey is the free online shipping tool that automatically finds the best promo codes so you don't have to search for one yourself. No more Googling promo codes and only finding expired ones. No more digging in the dark corners of the internet, desperately looking for a discount. Just download Honey to your computer and head to one of your favorite shopping sites like Walmart, Home Depot, eBay, Target, etc. When you check out, click the little Apply Coupons button that pops up. Wait a few seconds for Honey to scan its database of all the working coupons on the web. Then watch your price drop. Honey has over 100,000 5-star reviews. That's a lot. So you know it must be good. In fact, Honey's found over $2 billion in savings for its nearly 20 million members. Not using Honey is literally passing up free money. Download Honey on your computer for free at joinhoney.com/Howie. That's joinhoney.com/Howie.
And now, 1 minute of Nancy Pelosi.
It is a bill that is much needed for our farmers and ranchers. I think there are only 47 votes against it in the House of Representatives. The American people should know the source of it. Again, we are engaged in the year-end continuing resolution, Homeland Security. I'm not sure. No, I haven't spoken to him since he called the other day, which was a very amicable conversation. Amiable, I guess you would say, not amicable. And I talked to Chuck last.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
Nothing will stand in our way as we pursue any avenue to find what best works against this.
That he would bring the Army Corps of Engineers here. They came here the next day. I spoke to him last night to follow up on the meeting. I want to thank the president.
Hell, breathe over.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studio.
Just in Act 1 of this. Act 2 is when
the hospitals start to get jammed.
Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies.
When our,
We see the lack of supplies.
healthcare professionals don't have the supplies they need to keep them safe,
Rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes.
and they go down.
The dead rising from the grave. Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together.
But this is the reality we seem to be facing.
Who's your captain? Howie Carr.
I have lived through 9/11. I lost 3 people, 3 friends that I knew in the towers. I was there through the crash of 2008, but this is the worst of all.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Unchained and unstoppable.
Why was the United States not prepared with more testing?
We were very prepared. The only thing we weren't prepared for was the media. The media has not treated it fairly. I'll tell you how prepared I was. I called for a ban from people coming in from China long before anybody thought it was. In fact, it was your network. I believe they called me a racist because I did that. Burn! It was many of the people in the room. They called me racist and other words.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
Welcome back to the Howie Carr Show. If you'd like to join us, 844-500-4242, 844-500-4242. We haven't taken many phone calls today, or I don't think we've taken any phone calls today, actually, but we're busy, and I think we've got some more another good guest. We've got several good guests coming up in this segment, but just hang on, and we'll take some calls here as we go through the last half of the show today. 844-500-4242. Time now for the chump line.
Hello. Thank you for calling the Centers for Disease Control. To report coronavirus racism, press 1. If you'd like to speak to Vice President Mike Pence, press 2. To order toilet paper, press 3.
Very good. I'm glad he had his priorities in order. You know, the Kung flu is the most pressing issue facing the economy, the society today. 844-500-4242. I just got a text message from 508. I've been working all day long. Can you get me up to speed on the body count? In Massachusetts, the body count is holding steady at 0. All right, go ahead.
Lovey, I can't believe all these interlopers flocking to our island. Not only that, but the Chanticleer is now takeout only. How tacky.
Can you still get the drawn lobster butter when you go to the Chanticleer Inn? The Boston Globe had the funny story about the beautiful people going to Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard. We read that on the air yesterday. The New York Post has one about the Hamptons today. Same thing. The people say the runs on liquor are like the 4th of July, and people are going into these gourmet grocery stores, and they say, here's the plate of steaks. Which ones do you want? And they say, oh, I'll take the entire tray. They're coming in and they're buying thousands of dollars worth of high-end groceries all at once. They're escaping the madding crowd of Manhattan and Brooklyn Heights.
Copy.
The Chump Line is brought to you every weekday at this time by Matthews Brothers, America's oldest window manufacturer, whose wicked awesome windows and doors are only available through Better Lumber Yards and Window Professionals.
Howard, Millwell calling. Well, I've decided to splash call for my campaign. I mean, what's the point of campaigning when the bars are all closed?
Bill Weld ran for governor and won in Massachusetts. He ran in New York and lost. Didn't get very far. He ran for vice president as a libertarian, endorsed Obama a couple of times. And now I think, now that he knows that the restaurants in New Hampshire are going to have takeout booze, apparently, according to what Grace said. I guess he's going to be the next Massachusetts Republican after Scott Brown to move to the live free or die state.
Oh, Grace, I thought you were the perfect woman. I'm crushed.
Yep. Some people are saying Grace can never run for office now that she's denounced the Beatles. I almost was reduced to defending the Beatles, which I don't normally do in the course of my lifetime.
So Donald Trump is going to send us each $1,000. No big deal. Mayor Bloomberg was all set to send us each $1 cold million smackaroos.
Well, Bernie said Bernie said $2,000. It's like the wealth tax between him and Elizabeth Warren. She was going to drop it at starting at $50 million. You're going to have to pay 2%. That's not good enough. Under my plan, anyone making more than $32 million in net assets has to pay the wealth tax. So I can give $2,000 to every loafer in the world.
Yes, Howie, Playboy, April 1956. Cover girl, Marilyn Monroe. Downhill ever since.
Yeah, when they announced that they weren't going to do the Playmate of the Year anymore, they were going to do Miss Diversity of the Year. I said, what's the point? Why are they still printing it? And then a couple of days later, they just decided to use coronavirus as an excuse to kill the entire print edition.
Would you stop all the hating, Grace? All you need is a little love.
And while we're at it, give oil and buck to the Irish.
I would say that I like them now, but it would just seem phony. I already made it clear my feelings.
Grace, give us some lyrics from a Rolling Stones song.
I can't get no.
What's the Donald Trump rally
yeah.
song? What's Donald Trump's rally song?
Give me a little bit of it, and I'll try to.
Well, if I give you a little bit, then you'll you can't.
Oh, I think it's something like you can't always get what you want.
But sometimes, finish it, Grace. Sometimes you get what you need.
I just don't think anyone wants to hear me. People hate me already right now, Howie. They don't need to hear me sing, okay? It's going to push them all over the edge. It's trying times right now with the coronavirus. My voice is the last thing people want to hear.
413 says it's time. 413 says it's times like this that I wish that Brian Williams was treasurer. Yeah, because everyone in the country would be getting a check for $1 million. And Mara Gay was his assistant, comptroller of the Treasury.
Forget the mass hysteria over the COVID-19 virus. Look at what you have created, Grace. Mass hysteria over the Beatles. Stink? The Beatles stink? Oh, Grace, surely the end of times are near now.
It's good that Grace can say something, and with only the chump line only a half hour or less away, and all of a sudden the chump line is flooded with new material. This will be a good Chumps Day that we'll be posting. Because we've gotten like 4 times as much material as we usually get, just thanks to a throwaway line by Grace.
AOC, please tell us, with everything closed, what are we supposed to be patroning?
An excellent question.
Hey, Howie, who told Grace to kick off all the Beatles fans on air? The same guy who advised Hillary to call half the nation deplorables? What's the matter with her?
The Beatles. Grace, what color is the Beatles' White Album? That was a stump. That was a stump Trish question. Go ahead.
Can we put Joe Biden in a nursing home room that looks like the Oval Office and tell him he won?
Do I get extra tapioca pudding now that I'm the president?
Ask her the White Album cover again.
Grace, are you back?
Yes, I'm here. What's the question?
What's the color of the Beatles' White Album?
Is it red?
Keep going.
She walked away.
A texter gave me that nasty question.
If Andrew Cuomo runs for president, the first thing Trump should do is reserve the front row seat at every debate for Kerry Kennedy and the polo player.
That's one of the cases, though, where I actually feel a little bit of sympathy for Andrew Cuomo. You know, she lacks the gene of fidelity, I think, doesn't she? As a Kennedy.
That was your last chump line message. Thank you for calling Howie Carr, you chump.
All right, that's it for the Chump Line today. The Chump Line is the recorded voicemail message service of the Howie Carr Show. You can call and leave a message at any hour of the day or night, including weekends. The Chump Line number, if you'd like to leave such a message, is 844-500-4242, 844-500-4242. Press 2, leave a message on the Chump Line. We may or may not play it at this time each weekday. And again, you can listen to the Chump Line messages that didn't make the final cut here on Chopped Chumps. That's one of our podcasts that we post it right after the show ends, 7:00 Eastern time. You can listen to it, and it'll be a more full than normal Chopped Chumps tonight because we got all the influx of anti-Grace hate when she dissed the Beatles. So check it out. The Chump Line is brought to you every weekday at this time by Matthews Brothers, America's oldest window manufacturer, whose wicked awesome windows and doors are only available through Better Lumber Yards and Window Professionals.
Yes, Howie, Playboy, April 1956. Cover girl, Marilyn Monroe. Downhill ever since.
Yeah. She was obviously a great-looking woman back in those days, but I think those pictures were pretty old. They predated her superstardom. That was when almost in her Norma Jean phase. But Hugh Hefner went out and bought them, and he was a master marketer for many, many years. Hugh Hefner, and the Playboy philosophy, one of the most boring columns ever written anywhere. But then nobody was buying it to read the Playboy philosophy of Hugh Hefner, were they? I'm Howie Carr.
A nightmare to liberals everywhere. He's Howie Carr.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by Body Rituals of Dover, New Hampshire. Body Rituals specializes in classic and alternative techniques like advanced massage, energy practices, light touch, and deep muscle therapies. Go to bodyritualswellness.com for more information.
Campers, have you thought of upgrading your RV or camper this year? This is Howie Carr. Right now at Cold Springs RV, you can shop great preseason deals on a brand new 2020 camper. Go see the latest in pop-ups, travel trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, and motor homes. Cold Springs RV is your one-stop shop with over 200 acres of all things camping. It started with a camp resort, then came the RV center and superstore. Now they have the region's largest state-of-the-art service center and auto body shop. That makes Cold Springs your destination for all things camping. Remember, at Cold Springs RV, the doors are always open so you can freely browse. So go check out the latest 2020 models and see for yourself. If you're looking for a pre-owned RV, you'll also find one of the largest selections in New England. Don't miss the year's best selection and early bird savings at Cold Springs RV, and tell them Howie sent you. Cold Springs RV, Route 114 in Ware, New Hampshire. Online at coldspringsrv.com.
Mike Bloomberg is spending millions of dollars on all of his campaign ads, but we put together some of our favorite Bloomberg clips, and guess what, Mike? This one's totally free.
I think we disproportionately stock whites too much and minorities too little. To be a farmer, it's a process. So you dig a hole, you put a seed in, you put dirt on top, add water, up comes the corn. Then we had 300, you could learn that. Donald Trump is the world's biggest schoolyard bully. Big gay ice cream is the best. The Communist Party wants to stay in power in China, and they listen to the public. When the public says, I can't breathe the air, Xi Jinping is not a dictator. He has to satisfy his constituents, or he's not going to survive.
He's not a dictator?
No, he has a constituency to answer to. I'm ready to get to work, so let's get it on. I would be 79 years old when I took office. To start a 4-year job, maybe an 8-year job at age 79 may not be the smartest thing to do.
Why did you say what you said in that 2015 speech?
Did you already blow it on your New Year's resolution? Didn't stick to that trendy new diet plan? Stop the roller coaster and get the weight off for good. People still say to me, wow, Howie, you look really great with all that weight off. But it's a lot more than looking better. It really is about feeling better, too. For me, it's about not having to wear a CPAP mask. I still eat what I want to eat, but unlike before the sleeve, now I don't overeat. Get the weight off for good. Call Newton Wellesley Weight Loss Center. Call 617-243-3724 or go to nwh.org/weight loss. Don't procrastinate any longer. Whatever your age, whatever your gender, do it. Call 617-243-3724 or go to nwh.org/weight loss.
Brace yourself, guys. Here is 1 minute of Nancy Pelosi.
I myself have always been for lowering the voting age to 16. I think it's really important to capture kids when they're in high school, which was a very amicable conversation. Amiable, I guess you would say, not amicable. That they wanted their voices to be heard. I don't think our colleague is anti-Semitic. I think she has a different experience in the use of words. That's not the total package, but there are some of the major points of discussion, I would hope, from sea to shining sea, because they are not getting paid 163 Republicans voted no. Wisdom from the kitchen of the Willard Hotel, yes, ma'am. The president either doesn't know what he's talking about or doesn't want to know what he's talking about.
This is Jay in Hingham, Massachusetts.
This is Gloria from Haverhill, Mass.
Hi, this is Joe from Howie in the Hills, Florida, and this is the Howie Carr Show.
844-500-4242. Today's poll question is brought to you by Terry Riley of Robert Paul Properties. Terry is your Cape Cod real estate expert. Her vast experience will help you navigate the market and make the process easy and fun. Call Terry at 508-776-6182, 508-776-6182. Taylor, or whoever's there, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Is Andrew Cuomo auditioning for the Democratic nomination in case Biden can't handle it?
Yes, I think he is. And someone says he's auditioning to be vice president, but haven't they both promised they're going to nominate a woman as, Bernie's kind of out of the picture, but I think Biden has said he's going to have a woman on the ticket with him. So I think Andrew Cuomo's got to go for the top spot on the ticket. And if you go by IQ tests or any kind of gauges of mental faculties, there's an opening. So yes, I think he is auditioning.
82% of the audience agrees. Yes, he is.
Okay, we don't have a lot of time here. I wanted to play this. I read you this cut. We did yesterday. We didn't have it though. This is the mayor of Baltimore, Jack Young. The shootings continued at record levels in Baltimore. And so now they've got this problem. They need to open up some hospital beds. So he advised people in the community to stop shooting each other until they can get the virus under control. I'm serious. Play the cut 12.
We're dealing with the COVID virus, and those of you who want to continue to shoot and kill people in this city, we're not going to tolerate it. We're going to come after you, and we're going to get you. We cannot clog up our hospitals with their beds, with people who are being shot senselessly, because we're going to need those beds for people who might be infected with the COVID virus, coronavirus. And it could be your mother, your grandmother, or one of your relatives. So take that into consideration and put down the guns.
I'm sure that will have the usual effect on the violence. And I like the way he says shot senselessly. Can you shoot somebody sensibly? You just can't shoot them senselessly anymore? Is that the way it's supposed to work out? I don't quite get it.
He was talking about violence and conditions in Baltimore. Is he dog whistling anything there?
Again, the former mayor is going away in a couple of weeks, so I think that'll open up a couple of more beds because it's her house and her niece lives with her. So, and I guess the niece will have to move back home. So that's 2 more beds they'll have for coronavirus sufferers. 844-500-4242. That is the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. And I'm just looking to see if we have anything to get through. Cut 5, play Cut 5, the president with some hack reporter at the White House today.
Right about it. Yeah, go ahead.
For you and then one for the medical professionals. I wanted to just follow up on John and Caitlin's question. So it's not just masks. Doctors are saying now that they are desperate for other personal protective gear, gloves, other equipment. Governors are saying they don't have access to respirators and they're terrified. What is your reticence about employees?
Governors are supposed to get it. The states are supposed to get it, but we're helping the states.
Period. Okay? I'm Howie Carr.
The 2020 elections have the potential to shape the next decade financially. That's especially true if you're within 10 years of retirement. Is your plan ready? Find out with a portfolio stress test from Kevin Frisbee at Frisbee & Associates. Call 800-989-9100 for your no rules and regulations from what the Secure Act is and isn't to Social Security and Medicare. Let Kevin and the team give you peace of mind as you get near retirement. Make sure your plan is ready for whatever happens come November. It starts with a phone call to Frisbee & Associates, 800-989-9100. And be sure and catch Kevin on the Howie Carr radio program every Thursday at 3:50 as he reviews the market. Call Kevin now at 800-989-9100. 800-989-9100.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
You are known as a cheap bastard. Which one of your daughters is the cheapest and why?
Charlotte is the cheapest, and I say that because she's always using my credit card. We keep changing the credit cards over and over again, and she keeps busting in and using them again. Most recently, just this week, she spent $75 at AT&T.
What's the cheapest thing you do now to save money?
The cheapest thing I do currently to save money, I guess, is I take all the bottles and cans back to the market basket every weekend. I always like to save that money. You know, I can't stand to throw those bottles and cans away and have the unclaimed returns go to the state of Massachusetts for illegal aliens.
Do you recycle?
Yes, I do recycle. When I got on the town meeting, I saw that the town dump was probably the only department in the town that was running in the black, and it's because of all the recycling that was going on. So I try to keep my taxes down that way. I'm here with Dr. Bruce Houghton from Perfect Smiles in Nashua, New Hampshire. Dr. Houghton, tell us about the state-of-the-art procedures that can help many people look 10 to 15 years younger.
As we age, we do lose these proper proportions to our faces. And so if you're deficient in your chin or mid-face, we can create the proper proportions and make you look great. Sometimes we use orthodontics to change the look of the face. Sometimes we just use the teeth themselves and it creates the right support for a beautiful face. They're all non-surgical procedures.
There's some pretty complex cases that you deal with. Give me an example of a tough case.
Well, some cases, people just are missing a lot of teeth. I get a lot of people that come come in and think that I cannot solve their problems because they're too great, but I really can. We've been doing this for over 35 years, and there isn't much that we haven't seen.
So even if you're missing a few teeth or your teeth are discolored or you're very embarrassed, there's no reason not to come in for a consultation, right?
Absolutely. New techniques, new technology, things are available to us that we never had before, and we can handle just about everything.
Where can people find you?
So you can find us at perfectsmiles.com or call 844-A-PERFECT-SMILE.
The Moonbats always say Donald Trump isn't very bright. But what about Barack Hussein Obama? Let's listen to some of his greatest hits.
I've now been in 57 states. I think one left to go. I don't know what the term is in Austrian.
The Cambridge police acted stupidly.
And there has never been any man or woman more qualified for this office than Hillary Clinton.
There are neighborhoods around the country where it is easier for a 12 or 13-year-old to purchase a gun and cheaper than it is for them to get a book.
I believe in the Second Amendment. It's there written on the paper.
If we fall for, a bunch of okey doke.
A few months ago, when you were asked what's the biggest geopolitical threat facing America, you said Russia, not Al Qaeda. You said Russia. In the 1980s are now calling to ask their foreign policy back.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
Is Kennedy Babylon 2 your last book?
No, if I think of another topic for a book I want to write, I'll go for it. But I think it's the last of my Kennedy Babylon series. I made Kennedy Babylon 2 kind of long because I wanted to get everything in there. Now there's other stuff I could write about, but I'm Kennedy now.
Since having the sleeve operation, do you miss not eating big meals?
No, I don't. I can still eat what I used to eat. I just can't eat as much. I'm now very surprised how much I used to eat. I'm surprised at how much people I eat with consume. It's just hard to believe that I used to eat that much, but no, it's not a problem.
How is Mr. Gooner since Pearl's passing?
Mr. Gooner is drowning his sorrows in food.
What is the most trouble you ever got into as a kid?
My father was giving me grief one time up at Moosehead Lake in Maine, and I threw a rock at him. He didn't much like that.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
844-500-4242. I've been holding up this front page of the New York Post all day. Mass layoffs begin, and they're talking about thousands of New York City restaurant workers fired, but it's happening around the country. Many restaurants are being shut down or being turned into takeout only, and it's just having a devastating impact on probably hundreds of thousands of workers. And joining us now on the line is Ray Washburn. He's a very successful businessman from Dallas, Texas. He owns about 65 restaurants. He's a landlord. He has interests in a number of malls, and he's the employer of Charlotte Carr as one of his personal assistants. But he's also a former member of the Trump administration, and he's really on top of this thing. And he was on Tucker Carlson last night. And Ray, thanks for being with us here on the Howie Carr Show.
Great, Howie. Thank you for having me on.
How many, Ray, you have, I think, 65, 70 restaurants. How many, and you're obviously a big operator. Katie's Trail Ice House is, I think, the biggest purveyor of liquor in the state of Texas. You can survive. Your restaurants can survive, but how about the average mom and pop restaurants across the country being shut down like this?
Well, actually, Howie, it's difficult for us all. I mean, I run a payroll of almost $1.5 million a week, and with no income coming in, I mean, how long is that sustainable for anybody? I employ over 3,000 people, and so, well, they're not owned by the corporation. They're owned by somebody who owns, 10, 20 units. Even like Dunkin' Donuts up in your area, they're all owned by individual franchisees, a lot of them, and they all employ several hundred people. I mean, how long can they stay in business? So all of us run very slim margins, and any disruption of more than 3 or 4 days crushes any kind of cash cushion you have, because the payroll burden you run. 30 to 35% of our cost is payroll. So if you have no income coming in, I mean, it's a crushing burden. And so the big issue, and this is what I was telling Tucker last night, is really in 2 weeks, which is April 1st, when rents are going to be due from tenants, mortgages are going to be due from shopping centers to their lenders, and then lenders are going to owe their bondholders for the loans on the real estate where these people are. And also, this thing happens so fast. Vendors that supplied your produce, your beer, all your things for a restaurant, supplied them really at the beginning of this month. 30-day terms are going to be the first week of April. There's a massive payable thing working its way through the snake that in 2 weeks, everyone's going to show up and say, okay, nobody's spending money in my restaurant. I can't pay you for the vegetables I've already sold. I can't pay the landlord for the next month's rent. The landlord shows up. I got to pay the mortgage. It's this absolute circle firing squad that's about to hit.
Well, I mean, what could be done to avoid even more dislocations in the economy?
So here's the biggest thing on insurance policies that every business has. It's called business interruption insurance. And it's set up for really natural catastrophes, tornadoes, hurricanes, floods. And so you have it, or civil disobedience even. We have insurance for all that. What no one has insurance for is a pandemic. Why? There hadn't been a pandemic in 100 years. So why get insurance on something that supposedly would never happen again after the Spanish flu back in 1918? So what happens is the insurance companies, everyone is trying to impose a thing called force majeure. That means an act of God. The flu is not an act of God. An act of God is a natural disaster. And so the insurance companies are saying, we're not going to honor business interruption insurance, which basically would pay your rent while you're closed after a flood, after a fire, or something like that. The California fires a few years ago that burned up all those forests, those companies all had business interruption insurance. My solution is, do not create a new government bureaucracy like they're talking about doing. Let the insurance companies that carry the policies on all our businesses, because you have to have business interruption insurance, whether you're for your banker, for your landlord.
Right.
It's a requirement to have it.
Right. It's like flood insurance in Florida,
too.
right? I mean, everybody is required to get flood insurance in Florida, and you have to, under the terms of your notes, you have to get business interruption insurance, right?
Exactly. But if the federal government would say, we'll stand behind the insurance companies, which already have the policy on, Joe's Pizza Shop down on the corner, that enables Joe to have the money to then pay the landlord the rent. The landlord can then pay the money to their mortgage holder, and he gives them money to pay his vendors. And this is really a one-time occurrence. Once you pay your vendor for the last 30 days, that bill's cleared. Now, the government's already putting $1 trillion out on the table to take care of stuff. If they administer it through insurance companies that already know their customer, already know that Joe's Pizza Shop guy, already have the policy, they can administer it with a minimal amount of corruption. My concern is you start throwing money out there, no telling who's going to put their fingers onto that thing. Let private industry, the insurance companies, administer this, and they could get the money in all our hands in the next 2 weeks, and we could avoid a disaster.
Ray, you know how the Democrats have been demagoguing us, saying Wall Street bailouts from, at the great crash of 2008. And President Trump was asked, as you saw today at the press conference at the White House, can you guarantee there will be no bailouts? Isn't what you're asking for basically a bailout of the hospitality industry?
No, I'm not saying hospitality. For every business, it's business interruption insurance. I just happen to be in the restaurant business. It's going to bail out landlords. It's going to bail out the mom and pop dress store. It's going to the little barbecue restaurant in a small town. It's not bailing out big business. It's bailing out every business because it's just given a backstop that the government's already willing to do, but they just don't know how to administer it. And it's not giving any money to the insurance companies. People would say, oh, the insurance company's going to make a lot of money. They're just the administrator of it. It's like a mortgage servicing company. But you want them to do it because they know their customer. They know the guy that has the policy, the existing policy. And I don't own an insurance company. I just know when I go to them and say, hey, I got a problem. I had a flood in my restaurant or a fire last night.
Right.
The claims adjuster knows your business and things get processed very quickly. No telling how long. But, Howie, what I'm telling you is April 1st is when the bomb hits, because that's when all the payables hit. If this had been a long-term coming, like 3, 6, 9 months, you could be ready for it. This thing hit in 2 weeks, really a week.
Right.
I mean, we were having record sales a week ago Sunday. We had our biggest Sunday business ever in all of our 65 restaurants. Beautiful weather, great business. Now all my employees a week later, 1,500 of them get laid off. They're like, what just happened? We just packed. So that's what I mean. This hit like a bomb.
How, they're talking, a lot of municipalities and states are saying, well, you have to shut down the restaurant aspect of it, the bars, but you can still do takeout. I mean, how many restaurants can survive just on takeout alone?
You can't. Takeout typically runs 5 to, if you're lucky, 8 to 10% of your total sales, if you're lucky. But in this field, people are afraid to even leave their house. So it's. The restaurants are just dead. I mean, we're keeping them open just to keep some people employed. We've taken all our salary people to 50% salaries for the next 2 weeks. And again, when we met with them all, I've got 3,000 people. We had to lay off 1,500 of them. And they're like, wait a minute. We've worked for you for 29 years. What just happened? This whole business enterprise totally goes down the tubes if we pay salaries for the next 2 to 4 weeks. I mean, you're done.
Yeah. You own retail. I know you own some high end malls. But what is this going to do to retail? I mean, given the pressure that's already on them with the internet, what is this? Is this another devastating blow to retail?
Well, it is. And the interesting thing is, the restaurants and bars have been closed by governmental decree. Like in Texas, every bar and restaurant Friday night has got to be closed.
Right.
Thousands of establishments. In Dallas County, we've been closed all week. Now, we could make an argument to the insurance companies that we are closed by governmental decree. Okay, so that has some credence to it. If you're, Mary's Dress Shop in a shopping center, you close under your own. The government's not saying to close your dress shop. Like in my shopping centers, the soft good retailers, they close on their own. So we've already had them come to us, so we can't pay our rent next month. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I got a lease with you. And they say, we closed because of the pandemic. It's like, you close on your own. No one told you had to close.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's this big. So what happens to retail? The big grocery department stores like J.C. Penney and all those.
Macy's is closing down. Yeah.
Macy's. Yeah. I mean, there could be like J.C. Penney might not ever open again.
Wow.
You might not see some of these guys ever open again, because it's like, if it goes 2 or 3 weeks, they're already teetering on financial, insolvency. Well, it's game up now.
And then that's devastating to the real estate industry, to commercial real estate, if these places go under.
That, and hundreds of thousands of employees that don't have a job to go back to, and communities that don't have a place to go shop. So it's, you go to your normal mall, that's suburban mall, where they've all been kind of teetering on closing. Sears stores already. I mean, you can go and write Sears off.
Right.
Macy's probably will say we're only going to open half. Or this does give a lot of businesses an excuse to just say we're not. We're going to close them anyway. This just gives us an excuse to go and accelerate closing this stuff.
Yeah.
Our economy is about to take a huge shift, and we don't know what it's going to look like when all this is over with. But it's going to. it's going to force through a lot of things that have been kind of percolating to happen. It's going to force it through. Now, what happens to the restaurant business? Because that's specifically what you asked me about. You know, a month from now, the mom and pops, if this lasts another Texas, we got to be closed to April 29th. So, I mean, if you wanted to try to pay your payroll for the next month and a half, you're just not going to make it. No one is. You know, McDonald's ain't going to make it. Chili's ain't going to make it. Everyone's got to lay off. And then when it does come back and it's over and you open up, it's like, well, people are like, I don't have any money to go eat. You know, they're going to have to, the economy's going to have to limp back.
Boy.
So anyway, I don't have a solution. I just think there's a backstop of a few things. The business interruption insurance, to me, is a simple one because it's there in place and it can be administered by an apparatus already there. And we don't have to set up any kind of government bureaucracy, which, look, I lived through the 80s and the whole RTC and these huge thousands of employees to administer claims. It's like, why? We got it there now with these insurance companies. Let them do it. And that's not a bailout. They're not getting anything for doing it. They're just trying to save the lawsuits they're about to incur.
Yeah. So you're right. The rest, everyone who has these insurance policies will sue and claim that this pandemic is covered. So you're right. So it'll be a lot of money for lawyers. Ray Washburn, thank you very much for being with us in this time, and I appreciate it. And give my best to Charlotte, my daughter.
Okay, I sure will.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you. That's Ray Washburn. He's a former Trump administration official. He ran OPEC, they call it. And my daughter Charlotte works for him, and he's down in Dallas, and he's got some really, really good restaurants down there, and he's doing redevelopment work. He's a successful businessman. 844-500-4242. I'm Howie Carr.
He's suave, he's debonair, he's Howie Carr.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by MyCube Safe. After yesterday's cheap bastard deal sellout, MyCube is extending their sale for $200 off plus free shipping. Safes are needed now to store cash, ammo, and guns. Email scott@mycubesafe.com. Only 50 available. Why is finding promo codes that actually work so hard? With Honey, it doesn't have to be. Honey is the free online shipping tool that automatically finds the best promo codes so you don't have to search for one yourself. No more Googling promo codes and only finding expired ones. No more digging in the dark corners of the internet, desperately looking for a discount. Just download Honey to your computer and head to one of your favorite shopping sites like Walmart, Home Depot, eBay, Target, etc. When you check out, click the little Apply Coupons button that pops up. Wait a few seconds for Honey to scan its database of all the working coupons on the web. Then watch your price drop. Honey has over 100,000 five-star reviews. That's a lot. So you know it must be good. In fact, Honey's found over $2 billion in savings for its nearly 20 million members. Not using Honey is literally passing up free money. Download Honey on your computer for free at joinhoney.com/Howie. That's joinhoney.com/Howie.
He's the gaff that keeps on giving. Here's 1 minute of former Vice President Joe Biden.
You teachers who touch them, figuratively speaking, well, I hope you touch them and tell them how much you love them too. But my point is, when you touch their hearts,
I get in trouble for some things I say, but I want to tell you, just be straight up. If I'm your president, with me, it starts here in my gut, goes to my heart, and then I articulate it.
And by the way, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. 1.2 billion. So you go ahead and you stack spaghetti sauce at a store in a supermarket. You control the guy or the woman who brings out the carts on a forklift. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap, and I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
John, what happened at Perfect Smiles when you went?
The initial consultation was easy. In the past, they just hand me a clipboard to fill out the forms, but that's not how I worked at Perfect Smiles. What was nice was it was a true consultation. They asked me my medical history or what I wanted to get out of the treatment plan. For me, I lived with TMJ. I'd literally have to crack my jaw throughout the day to relieve the pressure. I'd get headaches throughout the day. I'd be in pain. When I was at Perfect Smiles, they asked me what I wanted to get out of the treatment. As a joke, I just said, geez, I'd love you to be able to fix my TMJ. And I was surprised because Dr. Houghton specializes in working with patients like me that have TMJ.
What were the results of visiting Dr. Houghton at Perfect Smiles?
Not only did I walk out of that office with a perfect smile, but he fixed my TMJ. It was a life-changing event. People tell me now that my smile is amazing. People would say, geez, John, your teeth look so great. I never realized my teeth looked so bad before. Now I take a look at the before and after pictures and I'm amazed.
Go to Perfect Smiles in Nashua, New Hampshire, or visit their website, perfectsmiles.com.
There are plenty of differences between Trump and the Democrats running for 2020, but the main one is Trump's pretty funny. Take a listen.
What advice would you give to the 25-year-old Donald Trump knowing what you know today?
Don't run for president.
I'm not a drinker. I can honestly say I never had a beer in my life, okay? It's one of my only good traits. I don't drink. Whenever they're looking for something good, I say, I never had a glass of alcohol. I've never had alcohol. Can you imagine if I had? What a mess I'd be. I'd be the world's worst. Other countries, big countries, India and others, we had to pay because they considered them a growing country. They were a growing country. So what are we? Are we allowed to grow too?
Yeah.
Okay. No.
Howie?
Yes. Yes.
You might want to play the Simone getting owned by Martha.
No, that's what I was thinking about
that.
Yeah, that's good. That'll take us probably close to it. Okay.
Sure.
Knock out all of the good stuff and end up with somebody that's actually got talent. That would be terrible.
Hi, my name is Jane Lucas, and I am from the town of South China, Maine.
This is Al from Merrimack, New Hampshire.
Hey, I'm Angela from Brewster on the Cape, and this is the one and the only Howie Carr Show.
We've had some serious guests on today, Dr. DeLone and Ray Washburn and the Secretary of Labor. I mean, this is a serious situation we're in, but you'd never know it from listening to Democrats. They're still talking about the racist references to the Chinese or the Wuhan virus. And last night, Bernie Sanders' spokeswoman, Simone Sanders, was on, and she was, or Simone Sanders works for Biden, right? Yeah, for Biden. Yeah, I'm getting the names mixed up. I'm turning into Joe Biden. And so she was on with Martha McCallum on Fox, and Simone Sanders, Biden's woman, just got totally owned, talking about the so-called racist description of the virus. Cut number 10.
A leader has to lead from the front. And so what President Trump came out and some of what he announced today was, it's a tough job, but it has to be done. And some of what he said today was good. But the reality is he also stood at the podium and called the coronavirus COVID-19 what I would suggest is a racial slur. It's something that is offensive to many Chinese Americans.
To call it a Chinese virus when it originated in China, why is that a problem?
That is offensive. It is something that is offensive to many Americans. And so the reality is, instead of name calling, instead of pointing fingers, instead of talking about poll numbers,
let's be serious.
Let's
be serious for a second here. The MERS virus is MERS. Do you know? Wait a minute. Do you know why it's called MERS? Why is it called MERS? That virus?
You tell me, Martha. You brought it up.
Because it's called the Middle Eastern Respiratory Syndrome, because that's where it originated. So this idea, this sort of rabbit hole of getting into this whole issue of racism, I just think is so counterproductive to what we're trying to do here. And I just talked to this amazing scholar on China moments ago who said, absolutely, China at the leadership level has tried to obfuscate and be everything but transparent since the very beginning. They lied and lied and lied about this situation. So why is it not okay to recognize where it originated?
This isn't about this is not about if China has been forthright and forthcoming. The reality is,
yes, it is. That's
the
exactly
Chinese
what it's
government
about.
denied the reality, not in terms of what the president of the United States is referring to this virus from the podium. The reality is, yes, the Chinese government refused to let American scientists in.
Simone used to work for Bernie. Now she works for Biden. What's continues to a battle of wits. She comes unarmed. I'm Howie Carr.
Primary season is upon us, and as we officially enter the 2020 presidential campaign clown show, we here at Matthews Brothers are once again girding our loins against the upcoming deluge of innuendo, deception, and slander we fondly refer to as campaign rhetoric. You'd think that after 166 years and 41 presidential campaigns, our loins would be fairly well girded. But as the boys used to say, an extra gird or two never hurt. And while we accept this from our elected officials, we expect better things from the private sector. Problem is, there's a surprising number of companies that don't feel obligated to this higher standard. Even in the home improvement industry, whose reputation for ethical standards rival those of used car dealers and personal injury attorneys, we have those who would bend the truth to make a sale. That's why we here at Matthews Brothers have always favored science over scams. We provide more written performance information on every window we ship than nearly every other window manufacturer out there. You can learn more about the performance of our wicked awesome Maine-made windows and doors, but only at Better Lumberyards and Window Professionals or on the web at MatthewsBrothers.com. Matthews Brothers with one T, America's oldest window manufacturer.
And now, a minute of wisdom from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Millennials and people and, Gen Z and all these folks that come after us are looking up, and we're like, the world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change. And your biggest issue is how are we going to pay for it? And this is the war. This is our World War II.
I think that there's a lot of people more concerned about being precisely, factually, and semantically correct than about being morally right.
But being factually correct is important.
It's absolutely important.
And if we work our butts off to make sure that we take back all three chambers of Congress, all three chambers of government, the presidency, the Senate, and the House in 2020, we can't start working in 2020.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
Would you say you're more like your mom or your dad?
No, I don't think I ended up being like either of them now that I think about it. My mother worked hard, but she never really learned how to make a lot of money. And my father didn't work so hard, but he had a good personality. He was good with people. He was better than me with people. That's what I'm saying. I'm not like either one of them, I don't think.
Did you have any siblings?
Yes, I have a brother, a younger brother.
What was your favorite subject in school?
Well, all kinds of history. I loved all kinds of history.
If you could have 3 houses besides the ones you already have, anywhere in the world, where would they be?
I wouldn't mind having another house in Palm Beach on Clark Avenue. Maybe a place in southern Maine. I don't need a third place.
Didn't you already have a house in Maine?
I did. It was on an island. It was not a good fit for the mailroom manager.
I've heard the house was haunted. Is that true?
Yes. And, my wife didn't really care that much for my relatives.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
I'm here with Dr. Bruce Houghton from Perfect Smiles in Nashua, New Hampshire. You get a lot of patients, I'm sure, who are apprehensive about veneers. What are some of the questions and fears you get when you're dealing with new patients?
Some people think they could look too fake, but true cosmetic dentistry is incredibly detail-oriented. So we put a lot of time and effort into individualizing how the smile looks, and we really make them look natural, but very, very pleasant.
People are concerned. They wonder, I got my teeth. Do I really want to put caps on?
Exactly. Yeah, they think they'll have that Hollywood look or fake look, but the technology that we have available and the artistry that we can create now really makes things so natural that most people, in fact, most dentists are just surprised that we can create what we can create nowadays. Everyone is different. Everyone has different facial dimensions, different bone structure, and we do everything we can to individualize treatment because there is no one perfect smile. It is your perfect smile.
Dr. Houghton, where can people find you?
So you can find us at perfectsmiles.com or call 844-A-PERFECT-SMILE. 844-A-PERFECT-SMILE.
Joe Biden might be running for president in 2020, so we should play some of his greatest hits.
Barack and I finally reduced the disparity in sentencing, which we've been fighting to eliminate, in crack cocaine versus powder cocaine. Correct. It was a big mistake when it was made. We thought we were told by the experts that crack, you never go back. You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. If you want to protect yourself, get a double-barrel shotgun. If there's ever a problem, just walk out on the balcony, put that double-barrel shotgun, and fire 2 blasts. They're going to put you all back in chains. Give me a break. That's a bunch of malarkey.
The 3-letter word, jobs. J-O-B-S, jobs.
One man stands ready to deliver change we desperately need. A man I'm proud to call my friend. A man who will be the next president of the United States, Barack America.
Howie says it all the time. When it comes to bad politicians, Massachusetts takes the cake.
It is my honor to introduce to you your senator, my senator, Senator Elizabeth Warren.
I know who I am because of what my mother and my father told me.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Governor Deval Patrick.
And frankly, I got to tell you, with all the other things I'm worrying about, this is not one of them. We're going to be fine. I'm in charge.
Please join me in welcoming our own Senator Ed Markey.
The planet is running a fever. There are no emergency rooms for planets.
The very first African-American congresswoman to be elected from Massachusetts, Ayanna Pressley.
We don't need any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice. We don't need black faces that don't want to be a black voice. We don't need Muslims that don't want to be a Muslim voice. We don't need queers that don't want to be a queer voice.
Let's give him a great Waterloo reception. John Kerry.
The Yankees posted the Boston Red Sox logo and they sang Sweet Adeline.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Are we starting to feel bad for Joe Biden? Sorta. Are we going to play his gaps anyway? Of course.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Now we need to stand behind Jamie Harrison, the next president of the United States. Next senator. I'm looking forward to appointing the first African-American woman to the United States Senate. Just like here in California, here in Nevada. Back in the spring, late fall, late spring, late winter, early fall. Anyway, you know what I mean. Look, tomorrow's Superstar Tuesday. I tell you what, I'm rushing ahead, aren't I? We hold these truths to be self-evident. See you sleepy.
Mr. Vice President, thank you.
All right, Chuck. Thank you very much.
All right. It's Christmas.
Sometimes I wake up and I think it's 1920, not 2020.
Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, whatever is going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else you can think of. So for the last couple of years, none of us have been worrying much about those quarterly statements. But lately, it's gotten a little worrisome. It's not that bad, not yet anyway. But what goes up must come down. Now is the time to start thinking about adjusting your investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally met rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a call to get a free, no-obligation investment guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. Call 800-912-2300. That's 800-912-2300.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
Is Kennedy Babylon 2 your last book?
No, if I think of another topic for a book I want to write, I'll go for it. But I think it's the last of my Kennedy Babylon series. I made Kennedy Babylon 2 kind of long because I wanted to get everything in there. Now there's other stuff I could write about, but I'm Kennedy now.
Since having the sleeve operation, do you miss not eating big meals?
No, I don't. I can still eat what I used to eat. I just can't eat as much. I'm now very surprised how much I used to eat. I'm surprised at how much people I eat with consume. It's just hard to believe that I used to eat that.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
Nothing will stand in our way as we pursue any avenue to find what best works against this horrible virus. So chloroquine or hydroxychloroquine. Now, this is a common malaria drug.
I want to thank the president. He said that he would bring the Army Corps of Engineers here. They came here the next day. I spoke to him last night to follow up on the meeting. I want to thank the president.
Hell freezes over.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studio.
Just in Act 1 of this. Act 2 is when the hospitals start to get jammed.
Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies.
When our
lack of supplies.
Healthcare professionals don't have the supplies they need to keep them safe.
Rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes.
And they go down.
The dead rising from the grave. Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together.
But this is the reality we seem to be facing.
Who's your captain? Howie Carr.
I have lived through 9/11. I lost 3 people, 3 friends that I knew in the towers. I was there through the crash of 2008. But this is the worst of all.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Unchained and unstoppable.
Why was the United States not prepared with more testing?
We were very prepared. The only thing we weren't prepared for was the media. The media has not treated it fairly. I'll tell you how prepared I was. I called for a ban from people coming in from China long before anybody thought it was. In fact, it was your network. I believe they called me a racist because I did that. Burn! It was many of the people in the room. They called me racist and other words.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
844-500-4242. That is the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show if you'd like to join us here. And someone says if J.C. Penney's goes down, then where am I going to get my St. John's Bay pleated khakis with elastic waistband in men's size extra husky? That is the question that has thundered down the halls of history, hasn't it? The halls of time. 844-500-4242. That's the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. We're going to take a break from coronavirus, and we are joined now by Dr. Matt, the house veterinarian of the Howie Carr Show, Dr. Matt Callahan, and he's here to take all of your questions about your pets, your furry creatures. And if you want to ask him if they, what you should do, how you should handle them, when you're trying to avoid being infected, or are you worried about them? The stories I've read say that you don't have to worry about the dogs at least getting the coronavirus. I don't know. We'll ask him about that. But any questions you have for Dr. Matt Callahan, get on board now at 844-500-4242, 844-500-4242. Dr. Matt, thanks for coming in to the Howie Carr Show today.
Good afternoon, Howie. It's great to be here, virtually, if not literally.
Well, listen. Tell me. First of all, tell people where they can go if they need your services and where you operate around. What's your geographic area?
Well, we see a lot of dogs from Essex County, so north of Boston. We see, we have clients as far south as Saugus and Revere, and as far north as Hampton, New Hampshire. So we are seeing dogs and cats at the Ipswich Animal Hospital at 978-948-8189. And so anybody, and we do have calls from Howie Carr listeners that call and have questions about their pets and stuff. So please give me a call anytime.
And 978
during business hours.
978-948 in the last 4 digits.
8189.
8189. Okay, 8189. Okay, so am I correct that dogs do not have to worry about getting coronavirus? Not that they're worried. You don't have to. Dog owners don't have to worry about their pets getting coronavirus.
That was such an easy question to answer yesterday, Howie. The problem with science is sometimes you're on shaky ground. And yesterday I really we're telling clients that there's no evidence. We had one 17-year-old Pomeranian from Hong Kong test positive. But within the last hour, the New York Post has posted a story saying that there has been a second dog testing positive, again from Hong Kong, which makes you not wonder, but kind of wonder about the test that they're using. But now they've had 2 dogs. They have several dogs in quarantine and a couple of cats in quarantine, but only 2 dogs are tested positive. this seems to suggest, I'm going to try to use as many qualifiers as I can, but that humans can give dogs the coronavirus. It doesn't seem like dogs are getting particularly sick. This dog is completely asymptomatic. I don't know why they tested it. The 17-year-old Pomeranian had passed away, but it was a 17-year-old Pomeranian, so it could have died from many different things, not corona.
So it sounds
right
like
now
it sounds like the dogs are like people. Then, you know, if you're young and in good health, even if you test positive, probably nothing adverse terribly adverse is going to happen, right?
Yeah, I thought it was important that I was reading. We stay in touch with the CDC, almost hourly updates and stuff like that. And this morning, I thought it was important. One of the CDC doctors said the most common symptom for COVID-19 is no symptoms at all. That you're completely asymptomatic. So we don't think that so it appears to be a disease that people can transmit to dogs. Theoretically, they can transmit it to cats because cats have the same receptor that the virus attaches to. However, there's been no cases in cats, and so it doesn't appear that dogs and cats are really participating to any great extent. So, of course, the question is how many dogs and cats are being tested. We're short of people tests, so I seriously doubt people are running out to get their dogs and cats tested. So.
Okay, so I'm sure that people are going to ask if they can get the canine or feline equivalent of that anti-malarial drug that's being touted now.
Yeah, while that's definitely, all the antivirals and the quinolones can be used in dogs and cats. They're not available for dogs and cats right now. But of course, if a dog and cat is going to be asymptomatic, there's no reason for you to use it.
All right. Okay. Well, let's take some.
So we can get human drugs, but we're not out there asking for it right now.
Yeah, and if all else fails, let's the vet and I will just stipulate going into before we take the calls that you can always give your pet CBD, right?
Well, as we've learned already, CBD does cure everything. So yes,
So if you want to ask, the question, the answer is yes.
Kind of amazing.
Yes, the answer is yes. You can give that'll cure anything. That'll glaucoma or a limp or kidney problems. Just CBD. All right, let's take some calls. We're just kidding. 844-500-4242. Johnny O, you're next with Howie Carr and Dr. Matt. Go ahead.
Hey, Howie. Good to talk to you. Hey, Dr. Matt. Good to hear you on. I got a question for you. I have a German Short-Hair Pointer, and he's a hunting dog. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello?
You're here.
Yeah, so he's a hunting dog. So he's a very aggressive dog. He does work on a Class A game preserve. But anyway, he breaks his nails a lot. Is there any type of vitamin or something I can supplement into his diet? Excuse me, to strengthen that?
There are dogs that just have unhealthy nails, and but then there's I honestly would have them looked at because there is a disease where dogs do not grow healthy nails and they do need to go on medication. My dogs have it too. We give a group of vasodilators and vitamin E and sometimes glucosamine and sometimes gelatin to try to help them make better nails. But you can always use gelatin. Knox gelatin, you can mix a half a teaspoon in their food twice a day, and that you can try that first. But if all of them are misformed, or if he's actually losing the complete nail, then it might be a more advanced disease.
Not misformed, but like I said, he's a hunting dog. This is my third Short-Hair Pointer. And he's very aggressive, but this is the only one I've noticed will break nails to the quick. And it's not like
if they're breaking them off to the quick, I would have them seen because that can be actually a nail bed disease.
Okay, but otherwise, just gelatin, because gelatin would be cheap and probably not much problem to just stir it into the food, right?
No, and so it's actually most of the treatment for the nail bed disease is supplements, but there are some specific medications that your veterinarian can give you.
Okay, thank you, Johnny O. Dennis, you're next with Howie Carr and Dr. Matt. Go ahead, Dennis.
Hey, Howie. Hey, Dr. Matt. How you guys doing? I'm glad you're out there still, with all this nonsense going on. You guys are still holding it strong, so I appreciate that a lot. Dr. Matt, I have a domestic long-hair cat. I don't know, I'm guessing she's around 8 years old or so. She doesn't have the best teeth in the world. My vet tells me they want to do like a $500 procedure where they knock her out, go in and scrape the teeth and maybe, pull any bad ones they find or anything. 2 questions on that. One, she snores a real lot and sounds like she's choking sometimes in the middle of the night. She'll typically sleep at the end of the bed, and I'll hear, that during the night. She'll, she still has her hairballs from time to time, being that she's long hair. But is there any connection, you think, between the teeth and the snoring or anything? Or
there can be. What type of cat is it? Just a domestic long hair?
Yeah, domestic long hair.
Okay.
She may be a little bit overweight too. She's probably 12 and a half, 13 pounds probably.
Yeah. I would say this, there's definitely a connection between some cats' oral health and their breathing capacity. Cats with bad teeth can get a disease called gingivitis stomatitis, which is a really severe inflammation in their mouth, and it can affect their gums, and it can also affect their soft palate and their throat. So, I absolutely think that that's a reasonable thing to do, if not just to clean and evaluate the teeth, but then the veterinarian can actually look back in the back of the cat's throat and make any evaluation that they need of, is this just a physical obstruction and the cat's just snoring, or is this something that needs to be addressed? We actually, in some cases, will remove all of a cat's teeth in order to solve this problem. And it can cure it. So,
the calls and then they go to break.
Apparently cats don't need their teeth. That's cats seem to do fine without them. So, but it has to be pretty severe in order for us to go ahead and do that.
Okay, we'll take some more calls. We're going to do Dr. Matt all the way to the top of the hour, so stick with us. And if you have a question for our house vet, Dr. Matt Callahan, give us a call at 844-500-4242, 844-500-4242, and Dr. Matt's number, if you want to call him tomorrow during business hours up on the North Shore, 978-948-8189. I'm Howie Carr.
Howie Carr. You can trust him. He's not like the others.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by the Salt Air Inn Bed and Breakfast in Bar Harbor, Maine, just steps away from Acadia National Park. Call Matt or Christy at 207-288-2882. That's 207-288-2882. Campers, have you thought of upgrading your RV or camper this year? This is Howie Carr. Right now at Cold Springs RV, you can shop great preseason deals on a brand new 2020 camper. Go see the latest in pop-ups, travel trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, and motor homes. Cold Springs RV is your one-stop shop with over 200 acres of all things camping. It started with a camp resort, then came the RV center and superstore. Now they have the region's largest state-of-the-art service center and auto body shop. That makes Cold Springs your destination for all things camping. Remember, at Cold Springs RV, the doors are always open so you can freely browse. So go check out the latest 2020 models and see for yourself. If you're looking for a pre-owned RV, you'll also find one of the largest selections in New England. Don't miss the year's best selection and early bird savings at Cold Springs RV, and tell them Howie sent you. Cold Springs RV, Route 114 in Ware, New Hampshire. Online at coldspringsrv.com.
The word that's helping Elizabeth Warren get through her so-so campaign?
Will you raise taxes on the middle class to pay for it, yes or no?
So the way I see this, so understand, taxing income is not going to get you where you need to be the way taxing wealth does. So no, and I'm not here to criticize other Democrats. So my proposal is that student loan debt would be canceled up to $50,000.
So, Elizabeth, can you put this issue to bed and tell us whether or not you are, in fact, a member of a minority group?
So, middle-class families.
Why did you list yourself as an American Indian on this Texas Bar application?
So, I grew up out in Oklahoma. So look.
Why did you check those boxes?
So
if you're in or near the financial red zone, that's 2 to 5 years from retirement,
Do you know how your nest egg would fare if the market had a major correction? Does your plan have too much risk? Are you being too conservative? It's time to stress test your retirement plan. Call Kevin Frisbee at Frisbee & Associates and ask for your retirement plan stress test. It's a $500 value, and it's yours at no cost. 800-989-9100. Find out where your plan is today. Maybe it's time to lock in those gains, reduce your risk, and make sure your portfolio has the diversification needed to weather the inevitable bear market. Kevin can help take the worry out of living in retirement. Call now for your no-cost or obligation retirement stress test, a $500 value. Call Kevin today, 800-989-9100. That's 800-989-9100. And catch Kevin on the Howie Carr radio program every Thursday afternoon for a market review and tips on creating the retirement of your dreams.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
Did you have any pets when you were younger?
I had a cat named Dexter. That was my first pet. And then I had possession of 2 poodles when I lived in Palm Beach, Princess and Frisky. They weren't really my dogs, but I took care of them. They lived with me. So they were my dogs. I love those poodles.
When you were a kid, what was the best gift you ever received?
I got this wooden fort from FAO Schwartz in Palm Beach, about the age of 6 or 7, 10 soldiers to go along with it. Such a cool fort. I had that fort for like maybe close to 10 years.
What is your all-time favorite movie?
Probably Goodfellas. I love Goodfellas. I love it even more than The Godfather.
What is your favorite dessert?
Oh, that's a tough one. Probably chocolate ice cream, followed by vanilla ice cream, followed by coffee ice cream.
This is Alex from East Bridgewater, Mass.
This is Ann in Saco, Maine.
This is John Zuko from Hanson, Mass. And this is the Howie Carr Show.
Today's poll question is brought to you by Terry Riley of Robert Paul Properties. Terry is your Cape Cod real estate expert. Her vast experience will help you navigate the market and make the process easy and fun. Call Terry at 508-776-6182. 508-776-6182. Taylor or
good guess. Good guess.
Okay, Taylor. What is the poll question and what are the results thus far?
Is Andrew Cuomo auditioning for the Democratic nomination in case Joe Biden can't handle it?
He's warming up in the bullpen, as I've been saying. Yes, he is.
83% say yes.
83%. Okay, Dr. Matt is with us here on his monthly hour on the Howie Carr Show. If you have a question about your pets, dogs, cats, anything, give us a call at 844-500-4242. And what's the number they should call you at, Dr. Matt, if they need your services in the morning?
At the Ipswich Animal Hospital, it's 978-948-8189.
Okay, before we go back to the phone lines, I want to introduce you to my my guy that works with me down here in Florida, McKay. He has a Shetland sheepdog, and he just got a collie from the shelter, a shelter rescue, and he has a question for you about the collie. Go ahead, McKay.
So I recently adopted this collie about a month or 2 ago, and he just had PDA surgery, and I was wondering what's the outlook.
Wow.
Yeah, I was wondering what's the outlook on that, and what I should look forward to in his lifespan.
Yeah, that's that's big time surgery. That's open heart surgery. So how old is the dog?
He's about 6-7 months now.
Wow. And what were his symptoms? Was he vomiting or?
No, he was anemic.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
So patent ductus arteriosus is a congenital heart disease or heart defect, but it can be completely fixed. And if that's the only problem, then the dog can go on and live in a fairly extensive life and a fairly healthy life.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Where did he? That's big time surgery. That's great that it got done. So
yeah, he's recovered from it very well.
All right. Thank you. Jane, you're next with Howie Carr and Dr. Matt. Go ahead, Jane.
Howie, I love your show. I'm calling because I have a little dog. She's a Brizon Shih Tzu mix. And I not really lost my eyesight, but I have macular degeneration, so the fine vision's gone. So I've been neglecting her nails. When I brought her to the vet, I bring her once a year, I bring her to the groomers twice a month. And they told me that they can't really do anything for her nails. They're starting to curl. How do I bring the nails back to the quick without cutting into the quick so they're not so long?
Yeah. How old is she?
She's 5 years old.
Okay. I mean, I really think she probably needs to go under anesthesia if she's otherwise healthy. She should be anesthetized, and she should have all her nails cut back until they do bleed. The problem with some dogs' nails, and Howie probably knows this with Gunnar, is that some nails grow out, like German Shepherd nails tend to grow out, but dogs like pugs have nails that curl almost like a ram's horn and will grow right back into their foot if not trimmed. So, yeah, I generally recommend sedation or anesthesia and then getting the nails trimmed.
Well, my vet won't touch her nails.
There may be a reason. I can't explain why your veterinarian is making the recommendation. So you can always seek another opinion, or try to get them cut with them awake. But sometimes the stress is so much to do it awake that it's just safer all around to have them sedated or anesthetized.
Yeah. Thanks, Jane. I appreciate it. Peggy, you're next with Howie Carr and Dr. Matt. Go ahead, Peggy.
Hi, Dr. Matt. My husband and I are pretty much retired, and we're thinking about getting a dog. And we were thinking about getting a corgi, and I was wondering, if you thought are they a good breed to have for us? Are they, fast enough but not too fast? What do you think?
Well, corgis are great dogs. I really like them. We have a number of patients that are corgis. They age very well. They live a very, very long life. I always joke about corgis. It's hard to tell the 2-year-olds from the 12-year-olds. So they really are, in generally, a very healthy dog. They're a high-energy dog. You need to have them out, keep them exercised. You need to keep them thin because they do have back problems. All dogs that are longer than they are tall, so dachshunds and corgis, have frequent back problems, and that can be something as innocuous, I guess, as back pain, all the way to ruptured discs and paralysis. So you have to understand that going in.
She asked you if they were too fast, Dr. Matt. Are corgis too fast?
They're not.
All right, we'll be right back. Give us a call. I'm Howie Carr.
As the 2020 presidential campaigns heat up, there's plenty of talk about what's best for the country. The question is, at what cost and who will be impacted by any of the proposed ideas? If you're near retirement, you need to make sure your portfolio is ready for whatever happens. Call Kevin Frisbee of Frisbee & Associates for a no-cost, no-obligation analysis of your current plan. Call 800-989-9100. Kevin and his team will stress test your portfolio to discover any hidden fees. They can help develop a solid income plan that will make sure you never run out of money, despite what the politicians might have in mind. What about Social Security? When to claim is a huge decision. Kevin is there to create a plan that gives you options to maximize your benefits. Schedule your free consultation now. 800-989-9100. And catch Kevin on the Howie Carr radio program every Thursday afternoon as he reviews the market. 800-989-9100. 800-989-9100.
President Trump's life has changed a lot in the last couple of years, but one thing that remains consistent, his love for a good nickname.
What happened to Mini Mike? Where is he? Mini Mike, I've had him up to here. Sleepy Joe has no idea what he's even talking. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. Sleepy Joe, get off the stage, please. I don't think the guy's got a chance. Sleepy Joe, I don't think he's got it. I don't know. I think Sleepy Joe may be able to limp across. Freddie Newman. I thought Pocahontas was gone, left in embers. I should have saved the Pocahontas thing for another year. Did you ever hear Pocahontas? Crooked Hillary. Crooked Hillary Clinton. Bill Clinton said to Crooked Hillary. Crooked Hillary, do you think he calls her Crooked Hillary, Mike?
Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, whatever is going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else you can think of. So for the last couple of years, none of us have been worrying much about those quarterly statements. But lately, it's gotten a little worrisome. It's not that bad, not yet anyway, but what goes up must come down. Now is the time to start thinking about adjusting your investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally meant rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a call to get a free, no obligation investment guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. Call 800-912-2300. That's 800-912-2300.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
So now you've broken your elbow. Have you ever broken any other bones?
When I was 8 years old, I broke my leg. I was playing touch football in Portland, and a big kid, a 15-year-old, tackled me. When I was in my 30s, I was going down the stairs, and one of the kids' toys was on the stairs, and I tripped on it and broke my foot. I lost a tooth playing touch football when I was just out of Deerfield. I got smacked in the jaw. My tooth went up, and I still have a bridge, a crown from that mishap. I have a replacement hip, and now I have a bunch of pins in my left elbow.
When do you plan to retire?
I don't plan on retiring. As an old football coach once said, once you retire, there's only one big moment left. You know what that is.
We all love President Trump's off-the-cuff comments, but he's never in rarer form than when he's speaking at a rally. Take a listen.
I hit Pocahontas way too early. I thought she was gone. She's emerged from the ashes, and now it looks like she could beat Sleepy Joe. He's fallen asleep. He has no idea what the hell he's doing or saying. I don't know. I'm not a vain person. But I look better under an incandescent light than these crazy lights that are beaming down on. That guy's got a serious weight problem. Go home, start exercising. Got a bigger problem than I do. Now he goes home and his mom says, what the hell have you just done? How do you top that? I'm just ready, the big, beautiful crescendo, and this character's going back home. One person just going home to mommy a little bit sooner. These are phony people, but that's okay. You know, when you think of it, I'm president and they're not. You really have to elect me. Whether you like me or not, it makes no difference, because our country will go to hell if any of these people get in.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
844-500-4242. That's the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. Dr. Matt Callahan is with us, the house vet of the Howie Carr Show. He operates in Essex County. What's your phone number if people want to call you on Friday or during any time during business hours, Dr. Matt?
My number is 978-948-8189.
All right, 844-500-4242. I'm just looking here. Someone had a question about a standard poodle with a different. My standard poodle has EPI. Is that? Do you know what EPI is?
There's lots of EPIs, but exocrine pancreatic insufficiency is the most common EPI that I know of. And if that's the case, you use replacement enzymes. There's several on the market, and the dog should go on and do fine.
He said, why do so many vets seem to know not much about this disease?
It's really uncommon. Although I don't know that vets should not know about it, but I mean, if it is what we're talking about, then it's a fairly straightforward cure, basically. The pancreas isn't making enough digestive enzymes. So exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, they don't digest well. Endocrine pancreatic insufficiency is diabetes because they're not making enough insulin. So, but this is like lipase and amylase and all the things you use to digest food. So a lot of times we have kind of a skinny dog, a dog that's sort of not thrifty, a dog that's either not eating well or has a lot of gas or upset stomach. But once you mix the digestive enzymes in with their food, they do great.
All right, let's take some calls for Dr. Matt. Daniel, you're next with Howie Carr and Dr. Matt. Go ahead, Daniel. You there?
Howie, this is Danielle.
Danielle, sorry.
Hey, Dr. Matt. That's okay. I have a quick question. I adopted a short hair black cat, and back in January, but she's been kind of scratching at her ears, and we've been looking for like ear mites or.
Yep.
She doesn't do it all the time. But,
excuse me. Can you say that again?
She doesn't do it.
How old is she, Danielle?
14, like 15 months old.
Okay. So if cats with ear mites, and it is typically a very young cat disease. Ear mites are pretty rare in older cats, and certainly very rare in dogs. So I would say at a year and a half out of a shelter, it's certainly a possibility that it's ear mites. And certainly should be treated. So any veterinarian should be able to take a swab, find ear mites. If it's ear mites, it's a one-time treatment. If it's an infection, they'd probably give you meds that you put in the ear for a week or 10 days and be done with it.
Okay, Danielle, seems like it's a treatable problem. Thanks for the call. Lee, you're next with Howie Carr and Dr. Matt. Go ahead, Lee.
Dr. Matt, since all my neighbors are home now, I've been noticing them walking their dogs a lot more. So that's not the question I have.
You check it out, Lee, if they got a bag in the other hand?
Yeah, exactly. Is he out with a video camera?
Yeah. So, yeah, that's not my question. What I noticed is my wife's home too, and, well, I think she loves her dog more than me. Is there a pill for that?
Howie, you want to take that one?
Lee, I'm surprised it took you this long to figure that out. Man's best friend. It also applies to woman's best friend, Lee.
Women,
as you well know. Lee was just having some fun with us. Thanks for the call, Lee. Marie, you're next with Howie Carr and Dr. Matt. Go ahead, Marie.
Okay, Dr. Matt, I have a real dilemma. I have a 15-year-old pug. He just turned 15. He will turn 15 on the 30th. Well, I had a 17-year-old pug before that.
Way to go, jeez.
Pardon me?
Keep going.
Dog is like he lost his basic back legs are basically flippers now, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just not used to be legs, and he can't tell if his feet are actually touching the ground or if they're curled over. And I've had him to the vet, many times. My thing is, he's happy. He eats really well. He's so excited to see us. Everyone that sees him said, "Oh my God, this is so cruel of you. How can you let this dog live like this?" Am I wrong? I'm embarrassed to even have people see him because I know that's what they're thinking.
Well, this is a very tough dilemma. You've done this amazing work to get your dog to this age, and then you're faced with this tough decision. Dogs with this problem are typically, not always, but typically it's neurologic disease. So they have a spinal problem that's preventing them from understanding where their feet are and having them work normally. I certainly would, at the very least, consider getting a wheelchair for him. Dogs do very well with wheelchairs. And I have had dogs, we were talking about a Corgi earlier. I had a client who had their Corgi in a wheelchair for the last 10 years of its life, and it had a terrific life, a great fun life. So I would absolutely at least consider getting a wheelchair made for him.
Yeah, there's a dog that where I am in Florida, Dr. Matt, I go out on the bike path most mornings, and there's a dog. It's I don't know what kind of dog it is. It's like a boxer type dog. And this woman has it, and it's got one of these carts. I don't know if you call it a wheelchair or a cart. It's for its back. It's for its back legs.
Yeah.
And the dog seems to be pretty. I mean, I see it every other day or so. The dog seems pretty happy. I never thought to myself, they should put down that dog. I mean, I don't think Marie should be, concerned about what other people say. If the dog's, seems happy. Keep it
right,
alive.
and I think that's even the better takeaway message. Don't listen to what other people tell you. If you think your dog has a good quality of life, try to support that quality of life however you can, versus bowing to the pressure of some neighbor telling you what to do. I mean, if your intuition says it's time for the dog to be euthanized, then it's probably time. if you want to do something for them, there are things you can do.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Marie. Mary, you're next with Howie Carr and Dr. Matt. Go ahead, Mary.
Hi, Howie. Hi, Dr. Matt.
Hi.
I was wondering about fostering a dog, and I was wondering if you foster a dog that's a little bit older than a puppy, are they easy to train and potty train?
Well, all dogs are different. So, are you thinking of a specific dog that's not housebroken, or?
I was I don't know, just like maybe gonna go foster one. Nothing in particular.
Yeah, I would say that older dogs that are already not housebroken are more difficult, but not impossible by any stretch to housebreak and to train. I would say that it's great that you want to foster an older dog. I have a lot of clients that foster older dogs repeatedly, so clearly it's something that's very rewarding.
So when you say foster, Mary, do you mean just keep them forever or just keep them for a while till they can find a permanent home?
Just keep them for a while until they can find a permanent home.
Suppose you get attached
and then when you adopt them, we call that foster failures, when you foster them for 3 weeks and then wind up keeping them for the next 7 years.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
I mean, what are the odds, Mary, you're just going to decide you really like that dog and you want to keep that dog?
That's when you end up with like 10 dogs after that.
I think your parents might put their foot down before you got to 10 dogs, Mary. All right. Thanks for the call. 844-500-4242. If you have a question for Dr. Matt, what's your number again, Dr. Matt, if people want to call you in the morning, if they have any questions they can't get to tonight?
My number is 978-948-8189.
Okay. And so as we get closer to spring and the days get longer, I know everybody's kind of obsessed with what's going on on the larger scene. But what should you do to get your pet ready for the spring and the longer days and being outside more?
I think that especially with this winter in New England, it was so warm that we really didn't have a break from the ticks. Once upon a time, I used to recommend allowing the dogs to go off flea and tick preventive for the winter, but I don't anymore. I pretty much tell people to keep them on the flea and tick preventives year round. The newer flea and tick preventives are so good that and work for this Resto Collar works for 8 months, Bravecto works for 3 months, and there's many monthlies out there. They're so good that that it's hard for me to tell clients when to stop. So they should really be on that right now. Heartworm preventive, veterinarians fall into 2 groups, the year-round groups and the seasonal group. And I'm definitely a seasonal heartworm preventive person. I recommend it from June to December.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what you should do. And it's, are there any other problems with the sort of the fairly mild winter that we had?
Well, I think that, I don't know that there's any per se problems, but because we've had such a mild winter, I suspect the tick population is going to be really outstanding this year.
Outstandingly
and
bad. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Sharon, you're next with Howie Carr and Dr. Matt. Go ahead, Sharon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the airtime, Howie. Quite an interesting week, but a nice venue with the animals for change. I have a question. If you are like a carrier of corona or you're developing symptoms, etc., if you're petting your dog, is this airborne also, doctor? One of my friends said, I'm keeping my dog away from other dogs. What's the scoop on that, do you think? And thank you again for your fine work, doctor.
Yeah, there's no evidence. There is evidence, very small as it is, there's evidence that people can give dogs the coronavirus. There's no evidence that dogs can give people the coronavirus, and there's no evidence that dogs can give dogs the coronavirus. Unfortunately, we're so early in this whole thing, we don't really understand it fully yet. But that's what the science tells us right now.
So don't cancel that play date.
No, I would say, you got to get out. So I don't think your dog, again, I don't think your dogs are going to give it to you. We'll see what I have to say next month. But so I think people should get out and about, out in open air spaces. They're unlikely to, have a problem in those areas. So
Okay, thanks for the call, Sharon. Sean, you're next with Howie Carr and Dr. Matt. Go ahead, Sean.
Hi, I was calling about the dog with the back legs missing. There's a place in Shelburne Falls, Massachusetts called Eddie's Dog Wheelchairs.
that is a great place. That's a great resource. Terrific.
What's the name of it again, Sean? So if people want to go to it or would check it out online, what's the name of it?
It's Eddie's Dogs Wheelchairs in Shelburne Falls.
Eddie's.
And we've used them before. They do great stuff.
Okay. Have you used them, Sean?
No, we were going to go down there this summer, but we had to cancel. But I just happened to see the place when I was down that way, so thought I'd mention it when I heard him talking about it.
Well, that's good. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that with us, Sean. Okay, we'll take some more calls for Dr. Matt when we come back. The House Veterinarian of the Howie Carr Show, Dr. Matt Callahan. Give us the number again, Matt.
At the Ipswich Animal Hospital, it's 978-948-8189.
I'm Howie Carr.
He didn't come here to be made sport of. Howie Carr.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by Boone's Fish House and Oyster Room on the Portland waterfront. For amazing wood-grilled meats and seafood, visit the home of the baked stuffed lobster, Boone's, Portland.
Hey guys, it's Grace. Howie is always giving me great advice. Never speak when you can nod. Always get the deposit money on empty cans. But the best advice he ever gave me was to call the car guys to get my first used car. I had tried to go to dealerships in the past, but just ended up feeling intimidated. But Bill Papa George from the Car Guys was the perfect solution. He got me the greatest car at the greatest price. Call the Car Guys today at 800-300-4600. I promise you won't be disappointed. That's 800-300-4600. Tell them Grace sent you.
Let me tell you about a new sponsor to the Howie Carr Show, Helping Hands of America. For over 2 decades, Helping Hands has made donating your car, truck, or boat to a New England charity incredibly easy. I've donated and you should too. It takes one call. The pickup is not only fast, but it's free, and your donation is 100% tax deductible. Call Helping Hands at 888-881-9090. That's 888-881-9090. Or visit helpinghandsofamerica.org. Restrictions may apply. The Democrat Party is so full of loonies, social justice warriors, progressives, whatever you want to call them, that sometimes certain moonbats get overlooked. So let's take this moment to shine a woke spotlight on Crazy Maisie Hirono.
I am not going to be a fool to Mitch McConnell's shenanigans. Why should any of us? And it's not just a dog whistle, it's a bullhorn. Bullhorns. It's racism. It's basically, for many people, it's anti-Semitic. It's white supremacy.
Why not take a stand and vote yes for it? Seems like you're trying to have it both ways, not be hung by it politically, but also not say that you don't support it.
I disagree with you, Katie, that why should we engage in the kind of sham shenanigans that Mitch McConnell is really good at? I'm confused. This was just a sham. Guess who's perpetuating all of these kinds of actions? It's the men in this country. And I just want to say to the men in this country, just shut up and step up. I think the noose is closing, and, Giuliani is like a loose cannon, and so is the president, frankly.
Campers, have you thought of upgrading your RV or camper this year? This is Howie Carr, right now at Motor Homes. Cold Springs RV is your one-stop shop with over 200 acres of all things camping. It started with a camp resort, then came the RV center and superstore. Now they have the region's largest state-of-the-art service center and auto body shop. That makes Cold Springs your destination for all things camping. Remember, at Cold Springs RV, the doors are always open so you can freely browse. So go check out the latest 2020 models and see for yourself. If you're looking for a pre-owned RV, you'll also find one of the largest selections in New England. Don't miss the year's best selection and early bird savings at Cold Springs RV. And tell them Howie sent you. Cold Springs RV, Route 114 in Ware, New Hampshire. Online at coldspringsrv.com.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
We went to the White House for the Christmas party. In your opinion, what was the highlight?
The highlight of my trip to the White House with Grace, there were 2. Number one, when we walked into Trump International Hotel, which she'd been dreaming of going to, and her eyes were wide. And then when the president actually came down the stairs, her eyes were even wider. She was so in awe being there. I really felt like King Farouk, you know? I felt like I was giving someone a really great gift that they couldn't get otherwise.
You've had some really good interviews over the years. Which one was your favorite?
I can't really say what the best interview I ever had, but one that just occurred to me was Jesse Helms, the senator from North Carolina. I interviewed him one time, and he went to high school with my mother in Monroe, North Carolina. And the first words out of his mouth were, "Howie, I know your mother before you knew your mother."
Hi, this is Val from Longmeadow, Mass.
Hi, this is Tony and Pietra from Haverhill, Massachusetts.
This is Myrnie in Fairfax County, Virginia, and this is the Howie Carr Show.
This just in, Governor Baker Taldeval has activated the National Guard. He's calling upon the National Guard to help mitigate the worsening coronavirus crisis, activating up to 2,000 members of the force to assist in the response, his office announced on Thursday. Meanwhile, the death toll holds steady at 0. We got a text from Garrett in New Jersey, and he says that down there, Governor Murphy has ordered the closure at 8 o'clock of all barbershops and tattoo parlors. Garrett says he only has an hour left to get his face tattoo that he's been looking for. 844-500-4242. With us on the line for one more segment is Dr. Matt Callahan, and he's in Essex County, and he's here to answer your questions about your pets. And Dr. Matt, give us your phone number yet again. What if people want to give you a call in the morning?
Yeah, people can call me anytime during business hours at 978. I almost gave up my cell phone. 978-948-8189.
978-948-8189. Ellen, you're next with Howie Carr and Dr. Matt. Go ahead, Ellen.
Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for taking my call. I have a 5-year-old sable German Shepherd. He's a full male, very well-trained dog. He was supposed to be a police dog. I've had problems with him for the last 2 years. I'm not sure what it is, if it is an allergy. He has large bald spots on him. He bites his feet. He has got the elephant skin. He has no parasites. Doesn't have mites. I tried the food change. I changed to raw food. I changed to yogurt. I changed to grain-free. I changed everything. He gets his sulfur bath. He gets nothing is working on and he's very skinny. He's very skinny.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. What has he been? Have you given him any medication? Has he seen the veterinarian or?
He has not, because it came and went. It out of a litter of 7. Him and one of his sisters also has it, and the owner of the other dog told me that it cleared up itself. Here I am, I'm waiting, but now it's at the point where
I definitely think it's time to see the veterinarian. There's a number of anti-allergy medications that they can put on, and usually at this point in time they have a skin infection, either bacteria or yeast skin infection. So they really need to get treated more holistically. You can't just go at one thing and try to think you're going to cure it. You have to do. There's several layers in this case, and you have to treat all the layers.
Good luck.
The overlying infection and the underlying allergy.
Good luck, Ellen. Very briefly, Dr. Matt, German Shepherds seem to have a lot of health problems, don't they? I mean, they're good dogs, but they seem to have more health problems than most breeds.
They're terrific dogs, and I guess I would say I see all kinds of problems in all kinds of dogs. I don't think mixed breeds are per se healthier. I think if you look at specific diseases like hip dysplasia and stuff like that, it is more common in purebred dogs. And there are certain conditions that are breed related. But I would say overall, German Shepherds, I think, are pretty healthy dogs.
Jim, quickly, you're next with Howie Carr and Dr. Matt. Go ahead, Jim.
Hi, Dr. Matt. I don't know if you can answer this, but I have a really bad dog allergy, but my wife really wants a dog. Yeah. I was just wondering if you could recommend any good breeds. I feel like the bigger dogs, but any breeds that come to mind.
Well, the best breed for dogs are for when people are allergic to dogs, people generally turn to standard poodles. Howie and I have talked about this before. I think standard poodles are terrific dogs.
I love them.
People that get them understand and they love them for good reason. They're terrific dogs.
Thanks for the call, Jim. Your number one more time.
978-948-8189.
Thanks, Dr. Matt. Talk to you next month. I'm Howie Carr.